you're looking for a supplement with some fascinating research behind it, check out C60 Evo ESS60. In the 2012 Paris Bati study, rats given C60 Evo organic olive oil showed a 90% increase in lifespan, one of the largest ever reported in that type of research, and it was noted that they died without tumors, which was unusual. C60 Evo has been producing carbon-60 in its Houston lab for over 35 years, and it's the only lab whose products have been used in peer-reviewed studies on this miracle molecule. They also produce pure carbon-60 ESS60 elemental safe spears with 60 carbon atoms. Other peer-reviewed research has found C60 Evo to be 125 to 172 times more potent than vitamin C as an antioxidant. And personally, I've been taking C60 Evo ESS60 for about a year and a half. I used to get 1 or 2 bad migraines per year, and since taking it daily, I haven't had even one or even a cold in that time. And if you'd like to try it as well, head over to c60evo.com/spaceshot76 or use the link in the pinned comment or the description box below and save $15 on your first order.
Hold the line! Stay with me! Brothers! What we doing live?
Well, that was abrupt. How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Nice little November rain entry from my brother MaQaveli here. And welcome on into Hold the Line. I believe we got episode 222, 222 episodes. What are we on? 3 or 4 years here, Mr. Mac? But welcome in, brother. How you doing? How was the week or the weekend? Because we're starting a new week now, right? Mike needs to Mike needs to reshuffle the week. How's it going, brother?
I'm good. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Things are flowing well, and this video, I know I kind of strung things that we've talked about are in separate episodes. So if you want to go back and pause it, you can read a lot of what the stuff says. We don't have to do it right now, but some of the key points is that there's I think at least 36 states that have the National Guard deployed or have been rumored to have been deployed. So in looking at all the avenues, Trump has circled the elections, I think, in every way possible so that he's protecting our elections. One of the lines on there is that there's no federal elections ever been suspended or delayed, even during Civil War, World Wars, and 9/11 attacks. So his job as a commander in chief is to protect those elections. The military can't necessarily go in, but there's avenues to protect the voters, going in, and that would include people who are illegal immigrants can't get in.
Yes.
So Trump has also hinted at we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Well, I keep bringing it up. I've been bringing it up for many years now. PEDS, the Presidential Emergency Action Documents, were formed originally by Dwight Eisenhower in the event of a nuclear threat during an election year. The PEDS or PADS were created. So Trump has that at his disposal, which are top secret, executive orders and statutes, I believe, and powers. If we want to play a clip of that, I do have that. But
Yes,
every type of crime, fraud. If we don't have the less crime and the minimized crime, we have zero crime. We have zero cheating in the elections. And so the digital part that we've talked about, CISA, I think that when I looked it up, it said Space Force has been helping them out since 2020. I looked it up again recently and it denied it. So I don't understand that thing. It was a simple question. I wouldn't have mentioned it if it said no originally. But Kash Patel's doing a great job getting the crime out. Operation Blackout, and many other operations that are going on, that they're doing a fantastic job. You got JD Vance getting rid of fraud in the government and anybody leeching off the government, I believe. And that includes like Nick Shirley. So all these people, illegals, were potential voters, illegal voters, plus more, because some of them can vote more than once, apparently. So,
if you're friends with you.
Yeah, and they're getting rid of the system in which they're functioning. So, on top of this, I think there's a whole way that they can surveil. That's why on there in that clip, there's RAIN. If you want to go, it's towards the end. It's a term for surveillance in the intelligence community.
Right here. And, turning it back off there so I don't have to remove this clip again here. There you go. Intelligence operations. Let me get back to it.
Quick.
It goes quick. Got to get it quick. Here we go. Bing. Oh, I missed it again. Intelligence Operation RAIN refers to RAIN, a specific mission software developed by Ultra something Inc. The system fuses data from various sensors and intelligence sources to deliver actionable intelligence using machine learning to identify threats and support combat identification decisions.
What's another name for machine learning?
AI?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the base form of it, I'm assuming. But, this is just one aspect that they use intelligence, and they can take different data points from different areas, different locations, different whatever it may be. And they can, gather evidence.
Probably should have been showing the folks the screen instead of blocking it. But yeah, this is what I was reading. So sorry, sorry about that. And I only do that just to, not make some ugly stuff on the screen there. But dude, you had mentioned cash, and we do have all of those videos to go through. But this is what I was actually going.
1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you get an email, you get a text, you get a phone call, you get any one of these schemes that sounds just a little bit off, call state and local law enforcement. Call us. And it's working. Look, President Trump and the Vice President stood up their anti-fraud task force. And in just the last 5 weeks, Trey, the FBI has captured 4 of the most wanted fraudsters in the world on 3 different continents, totaling $2 billion in Medicare and healthcare fraud money that was supposed to be allocated to our elderly and our...
Dude, how awesome and how much fraud are we seeing that's been coming out since President Trump got started? And did the beginning of that ring familiar at all to anybody? Like the whole see something, say something thing, right? Get on the phone if you see something weird or whatever, like call it out. I'm loving it, dude. And it's like every time we turn, you can turn on any medium, right? Computer, phone, whatever, TV even nowadays, right? You're going to see record amounts of fraud just being exposed everywhere we look, dude. I'm literally dumbfounded how much that they found. And I had no idea it could be this bad, but yet it is somehow. I mean, it's wild, bro.
Yeah, they've let it go on. This is how bad it's gotten. It's crazy. I mean, and they look at it as voters. So if they allow them to leech off the government, then they've got their vote. And then they can culture their employees and whoever else is reaping the benefits of their exorbitant amount of fraudulent money that they're receiving from the government.
It's crazy. And so they FBI Rapid Response, I'll let the rest of this play. Rapid Response posted this out like, I don't know, 12 hours. What was it? Almost 20 hours ago. But I mean, look at all of these people that are here. This is crazy. Let's listen to Mr. Kash Patel here.
Children. And on top of that, Trey, the FBI has led the effort to cripple and annihilate the scam centers in the cross-border regions in Southeast Asia and Burma, Thailand, and Cambodia. We are literally taking down villages because that's where they are located. That's where the criminal syndicates have built towns and traffic laborers there. We are freeing thousands of traffic laborers. Just last year, the FBI secured $15+ billion in scam centers that we seized that money, freed traffic victims, and are returning the hard-earned dollars back to the American people. So the message from the Trump administration is don't take a chance, and the message to the American people is President Trump is putting Americans first and safeguarding your money and safeguarding the future of our kids and our elders.
And doing a hell of a job, dude. Like an absolute hell of a job. This guy was a disappointment, Mr. Trey Gowdy. I'm going to talk a tough game. Kind of like the, Jim Jordan 1.0. Jim Jordan, apparently, he's going to get everybody and do this and do that, but they don't actually do anything and, hold people's feet to the fire. Oh, they have good hearings and they're interesting and they do expose stuff, but, they don't put any oomph behind it. But the guy to his right there, Mr. Kash Patel, dude, what a difference. It's seemingly been such a difference, right? And look at 4 of the world's most wanted fraudsters captured, 3 different continents, $2 billion in alleged, wink, wink, Medicare and healthcare fraud targeted, $15+ billion seized from scam center operations last year, thousands trafficked, laborers freed, scam centers targeted across all these different countries. But what do we care about Burma and Thailand and Cambodia? We don't care about them. Oh, wait. Those are the people that are calling our United States citizens and scamming the crap out of them. I mean, dude, if there's any legitimate business in any way, shape, or form, you can bet your bottom dollar some scammer out there found some way to scam it. And I'll give us as an example, Mac. We do a show here every weak, and from time to time, I know Jamie has seen it a few times, and she's commented and posted it out on X there, Spit and Puke there, Choke, Spit and Puke. She's called them out, and I've reached out to Rumble. But what we'll say is it will be like you're looking right here. It'll say Space Shot 76 with like a period next to it, and it's like, oh hey, I really enjoyed connecting with you today. Why don't you come over to my Telegram? And then it says like Michael Caputo Telegram, and I'm like, what the frick? So these scammers are absolutely everywhere, and they're trying to get after folks. And remember, these people that call you up from Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, while they might sound like this, my name is William. Yes, I work for Microsoft. don't ever call those places. Just beware out there. If you think it's suspect, definitely call somebody who might know a little bit better. And remember, here's another one for folks out there. IRS will never call you. I've said this a few times online, dude. I saved my buddy from giving a $2,000 payment to some fraudster because he thought it was the IRS. So, but good to know that he's actually doing stuff. And it's almost like the previous administrations. Oh, I don't know, Mac. It's like they didn't want to fix the fraud and they didn't want to see things cleaned up over the years. That's just wild to me. I mean, I don't know.
It was all part of their, scheme. It just compiles on itself. There's so many onion layers to this. It's crazy.
The funding of it all, right? Like, and they're taking that money to fund back their illegal, illicit activities, which again, they get more people in, and then they're more money, and it's just a snowball. But thankfully, President Trump is putting a big highlight on it. Now, Mac, I got one. I guess it would be considered. I think it is borderline. Kind of the stuff that we're into, but it's borderline not. But you'll see what I'm saying. So here we go. This is about the only one that's, I would say, not politics that I wanted to deal with. We had, I'm going to play a little clip of this here.
Is all of them. All of them. You write about a moment in your career where a friend of yours takes you onto a boat. You're led to a room which has an older man in it, and then basically told to perform sexual acts and,
Oh, yeah. Perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I'd realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. And it was that moment shook me and was shocking. And I was quite literally walked down, and I had been having a great time. There was no hints of anything like that happening. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back. And to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous, and had his hands like this, like this was just an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time.
So that's Hayden Panettiere, Mr. Mac. And, rather than just kind of...
Is all of them.
Rather than looking around and whatnot, or pulling up my link. Well, apparently that was a few months ago. And now she's dead. And I'm not saying that it had anything to do with that interview, but she is dead. She's only 36 years old, or was only 36 years old, and per Grok, Hayden Panettiere was found unresponsive in cardiac arrest and pronounced dead at the scene, which I looked into it a little later. They said they got her at like 1:20, and my buddy Patriot Politics Research noted the time of death that they found her. So if this is what they're saying originally, that she was found, pronounced dead at the scene, the official cause of death has not been determined. That's what I was told when I saw this maybe 6 or 7 hours ago. And what I've seen since then is that they found her at maybe 1:23, brought her to the hospital, and pronounced her dead at 2:32. And he made note of the date of the time. He's like, well, 2:32 is 3:22, right? Skull and bone. So I don't know. Could it be they took somebody out that they didn't want talking, or could she be a COVID victim?
That's her from a couple months ago.
That's
she didn't have any transformations, like blue hair or anything like that. Am I thinking somebody else?
No, I'm not sure. But this video goes on, and then it goes into this stuff here, and I'll just let this play as we kind of talk in the background. But Justin Bieber's father-in-law, I guess you would call him, talking about it's all of them and this, that, and the other. But again, I don't know what the reason. Is it something that she just had a weak heart and it wasn't due to something? Or was she killed?
I was wondering if she had a drug problem, because I think the way she looks now What's her name again? I'll look it up while we're watching this.
Well, I can help you with that really quick. Hayden Panettiere, and she definitely did have parts of her life that she dealt with substance abuse. So for sure, she was doing some stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I gotta connect that little extra dot because there might have been drugs involved. But it's a shame. It's
right
because she was in Hollywood at a very young age, did a very good job, and it sounds like people were trying to take advantage of her. So
yeah, that sounds like yachting to me. No.
Yeah, it's the once they get off into like I guess it's international waters.
Anything goes.
I guess. They're kind of trapped. So she's right. I think she hid on the boat. She found like a spot to hide for the rest of the trip and just hid out and couldn't trust anyone because the one she trusted let her down into the room.
Yeah, she said basically yachting. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. Yeah, there we go. She said that person was a trusted person that she looked at as a protector. And so just imagine, like, have you ever been in a weird situation like that? Not like that, obviously, but like a situation where everything was going cool, but then all of a sudden it was like, it's like, wait, this is not what we expected here. And apparently she didn't expect that, but I don't know what the scenario was around it, but if she was being paid, I'm just putting that out there. Like maybe somebody said to her, Hayden, hey, Hayden, do you want to come, on this yacht? You're going to be here for a week and we're going to pay you like $100,000 for the week. You know what I mean? And
all right. So
thinking,
who I thought, I'm mistaken. So, I don't know any of the story. It sounds suspicious, like you're saying, because she died of a heart attack at 36.
Yeah,
it said died. Oh, they just updated following an apparent overdose, including drugs and alcohol.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into this, but yeah. And of course, stupid Grok is telling me like, oh yeah, it's yachting. It's the idea of going out on a boat on the water. I'm like, okay, you have to be very literal with these stupid things. But just wanted to get that out. And they had talked about. And thank you, Chris. I honestly did not see that Chris Shells had dropped this one. Great minds think alike, there, Chris. And she went into the stuff the person who made this video went into where John Legend and Chrissy Teigen were talking about, oh, what was the, best place you ever had sex? And they say, oh, the Obama thing. It's like, and then you had all these other, older videos as well that very much a trip down memory lane for all of us. I thought this part was pretty interesting. An older clip of Bobby Kennedy, as much as I don't like to hear his voice, but listen to what he said back. Obviously, he's much younger then.
These incestuous relationships with Anthony Fauci that go back 20 years, where he's paying Fauci, and they have all kinds of really corrupt financial entanglements with each other. He brought Fauci.
So yeah, pretty good clip though. Very good little video there. They're showing all this different stuff and whatnot. But
I don't know. I have a clip of the peds at the bottom from X Post. There was a slight update of an article recently questioning whether or not Trump can use it, and it's in that at the bottom of the chat there.
Don't you love how they keep giving us these little breadcrumbs, bro? I'm loving it.
Yeah, and you can only that's
what I clicked.
Is it
on
all?
here. Let me see.
Try all the way at the bottom.
You meant the bottom, like where you said, the bottom. Let me see here. All right, unblocking the screen. Here we go. So we have a post here from a person named Mr. MaQaveli. You want to set it up? Go ahead, brother. You know what you're talking about on this more than I do. Midterms are safe. The PEDS, Presidential Emergency Action
I was
Documents.
Muted.
There you go.
My bad.
No, go right ahead, brother.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's on an extreme national crisis, and it was originally set up for a nuclear attack during an election year. Well, since then, they've even added like alien attacks. Each president gets to build off of it every time they're in term. So bioweapons, I think, have been added. So that would fit into COVID and what happened with that. And we're not going to find out maybe ever, but I'm hoping that President Trump keeps mentioning this nuclear thing about Iran, that he is setting himself up publicly to use them if need be. So he's covering every facet. Obviously, we have the EO 13848, which is foreign interference in an election. And, so he's got the whole thing kind of like in a surrounded situation. Now, the video's next, but they, I don't know if you want to read this part. I just took a screenshot here.
Sure. Secret emergency authorities. Would you say that the video is the next one if I click right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah, we'll read this one here first. So, for anybody who may not know what these PEDs are, it says, but beyond President Trump's existing attacks on voting lies and additional and potentially more dangerous layer of presidential power, the secret emergency authorities embodied in Presidential Emergency Action Documents, or PEDs. Since President Eisenhower's time, every administration has maintained a set of secret, pre-drafted PEDs for use in crises involving foreign attack or large-scale domestic upheaval. These are not policy proposals, they are directives, written in advance that can be signed and implemented immediately across the federal government. Had to clear my throat there. These authorities remain classified and have been developed for use in extreme scenarios such as catastrophic attack that threatens the government's ability to function. Think COVID, right? To date, PEDs have never been used. Wink, wink. No president has found an emergency dire enough to justify invoking them. But they provide a standing mechanism that a president could activate to override legal constraints, detain individuals, and direct federal agencies to act without prior judicial review. Gives them lots of power, right? Lots of power. Now, do you want to go into the video here, sir? Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, this gives a background. It's an old video that I've had posted a long time ago, and it was on Telegram. It got over 1.1 million views to date. So I'm glad a lot of people have watched it. It's very important to understand exactly what's going on, because I think this was done in President Trump's beginning of his first term. So let's have a listen.
Let's see if this is going to minimize. Oh, boom, boom. All right, no, it just did what I didn't want to do. One time forever. Here we go, Mr. President.
I have the right to do a lot of things that people don't even know about.
We can't know for sure, but what the president appears to have been referring to are his Presidential Emergency Action Documents, often referred to as PEDs. Former Senator Gary Hart.
Even though I've had security clearances for the better part of 50 years and been in and out of national security matters during that half century, I had never heard of these secret powers.
Do you know what they are now that you've heard of them?
Only vaguely, due to research done at the Brennan Center for Justice at New York University Law School. What these secret powers are, apparently, based on the research, is suspension of the Constitution, basically. And that's what's worrying, particularly on the eve of the national election.
These are essentially presidential orders that are drafted in anticipation of a range of hypothetical worst-case scenarios.
The Brennan Center research that Senator Hart referred to has been spearheaded by Elizabeth Goitein, a co-director of its national security program and a contributing writer at The Atlantic. Several times during his administration, President Trump has made allusions to secret powers that he has that we don't know about. Is he making that up?
Well, not exactly. And what's alarming about that is that no one really knows what the limits of those claimed authorities might be, because they are often developed and kept in secret.
Goitein says what little we do know about PEDs comes from references to them in other documents, some of which are now declassified.
They originated in the Eisenhower administration as part of an effort to try to plan for a potential Soviet nuclear attack. But since then, they've expanded to address other types of emergencies as well. No presidential emergency action document has ever been released or even leaked. Not even Congress has access to them, which is really pretty extraordinary when you consider that even the most highly classified, covert military and intelligence operations have to be reported to at least 8 members of Congress, the Gang of 8.
You're saying they are not consulting with Congress.
Exactly. Congress is not aware of what's in these documents. And from public sources, we know that at least in the past, these documents have purported to do things that are not permitted by the Constitution. Things like martial law and the suspension of habeas corpus and the roundup and detention of people not suspected of any crime.
The reason these documents are secret is for 11 administrations, people in power did not want to frighten the American people or to demonstrate what might happen to their constitutional rights and liberties.
And keep going. And you're saying what they're for?
Well, every administration, including Democratic administrations, has revised and updated these powers. And I started contacting friends of mine of both parties who had been in senior positions. And I got two responses, or one response, which is, I never heard of these powers. And these are people in senior cabinet positions. Or I got no response at all. And it was the no response at all from people I knew that began to worry me, because there not only is secrecy around these powers, there is a mystery around the secrecy.
Tell me what you know about these PIADs.
I think I know as much about the PIADs as any other American citizen, which is almost nothing at all.
David Cole is National Legal Director of the American Civil Liberties Union, and he's concerned about the vast array of presidential emergency powers that we know about. Under the National Emergencies Act of 1976 alone, the president can declare a national emergency just by signing a proclamation.
We've got a president who, in his first week in office, essentially declared an emergency to ban Muslims from coming into the country. More recently declared a widely understood to be a fake emergency in order to build a border wall when Congress told him they would not give him the funds to create a border wall. And most recently has declared that he may need to delay the election, which would be an emergency authority that doesn't even exist. So I think you have to be very concerned.
Which brings us back to those mysterious presidential emergency action documents.
Oh, boom. Dude, very interesting. And I think that's the way he probably has to go that route, no? I mean, because all the other ones, right, you have to tell at least a gang of 8. But with the PEDs, you don't have to tell anybody anything. And I think you would want, ultimate lips being zipped.
Yeah, exactly. National security is, a big one. I'm sure it's written in there. Two things I get reminded of is when he held up the red folder on January 6th for Eric Trump's birthday as well. Remember when January 6th happened, 2021, the famous red folder?
Oh, yeah.
So the presidential emergency documents are also part of the Doomsday Book, I think it's called, which has the nuclear football in it. So this is all in what he alone has powers to do. And what was the other example? Shoot. Yeah, there's the red fold. Yeah. But he didn't do that, but yeah, that's
He may or may not have. I don't know. It's possible. Big skull and bones on there.
But that's, January 6th happened, and they had the fake insurrection, as I call it.
Yeah. Well, this part was right about there. I think that's about it, right?
And these can be part of also like the continuity of government operations. So he's got so much he can do because it's such because of the weird times we live in. I don't think he can be public till we fix these elections and get back our country, in control as far as the House and the Senate and pass those laws that you were talking about. So, I don't know how long, we'll say that will be over for, but I like the fact that President Trump saying we're going to win Trump 2028. So everything we're saying about him still being on his first term seems to be in place. I'm
sending you a funny message. Just think clowns.
The link to that video I provided right there in the chat if you wanted to.
It's number 3
It's
right on here, right?
in the chat.
Yeah. Is it part of this post here though as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the link to YouTube where I'm sorry that the video didn't match up the audio. It was kind of strange, but this link here that I gave you will have it's actually a little longer, I believe.
Let me see.
Right there. Right in front of you.
Oh, this one here. Okay, I'll drop this out for the folks out there. But yeah, even if that's making them look bad, I couldn't do that, dude. I couldn't. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat, and just remember, guys, too. While everybody,
please don't do that.
Never. All right, there's the link that of that video there. I'm dropping the YouTube link for you guys right now. And just remember, ladies and gentlemen out there, like everybody's like, not everybody. I mean, we have the greatest. The greatest viewers out there, and then they are clued in and know what's going on. But all the other people that are just like, oh, nothing's going on out there. Like, where are the arrests? Like, what's going on? Like, you should be enjoying this right now. Like, what we're seeing right now, we have never seen even what we're seeing right now in the history of this planet, right? We've never seen this much fraud being exposed and at least being talked about on all these different levels. And by the way, like I said, no matter how this stuff goes out, through the government, we got millions and tens of millions, and I dare I say close to hundreds of millions of people, I would say, want a much different world and a much better world gone of all this fraud. So keep your head up. Now, dude, you said you dropped that link for Scribd.
We still can pass the Save America Act. There's still that they're struggling to do. So we'll see what happens. Do you know how long we have prior to the midterms for that to take place?
What do you mean, like to implement it, to get it all?
Yeah.
Like if they passed it? I mean, you
Correct.
got Thune or whatever was saying like a month ago, it's not enough time to do it. There's not enough time in between. But it's the funny thing is, as everybody's talking about this and trying to pass it, he's like 50 something and 2 in his last 2 primaries, right? President Trump and the people that he's nominated. So even while we're talking about like we need to fix this stuff, he's still crushing in the primaries. And I think we all can agree, yes, we definitely need to fix the elections so they're fair. I mean, dude, I just can't see justifying like paying hundreds of millions of dollars, probably billions throughout the whole country, right? In each district to what? Now we have to wait weeks and not get the results. Meanwhile, when we did it by hand, we almost always had the results that evening. And so clearly we know what they're doing. And this is the time that this is the time, right? There has been no other time even close to what we're experiencing and what we're dealing with right now, to the point of changing and turning our country around. So this is the time, and I believe it's gonna go through here. We're gonna see a lot of changes in these next couple of years for sure. So Mac,
I think I got an answer. I think we've
go for
passed the window according to AI.
Overton window.
Possibly. I could be reading this. It said early August was the deadline. So for it to take effect in the midterms.
Either way, we win.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's got it surrendered. So whatever ends up happening, we know that it's being surveilled at the very least, and we've got protection in every form surrounding how fraud goes down.
Yeah, so. Fraud vitiates everything. Now, dude, we have obviously tons of stories and links and stuff to go through, but you had mentioned you dropped the Scribd link for Pandora's Box, and you said you maybe were trying to get to it last week, but we didn't get it.
Yeah. So Q had mentioned Pandora's Box, and I think some Anons had mentioned that it was a book, and it's written by, I think, including yourself, I believe. Alex, what's the last name at the bottom?
Christopher. Alex Christopher.
Yeah, so you start delving into this, and it's very, very interesting because it has to do with the bloodlines. And the other books are 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati.
Fritz Springmeier, I believe, right?
Yeah, correct.
If I think he passed away, but he's definitely a very, very smart individual. But here's one of the, I think there's 2 posts that talk about Pandora, unless it's a post within a post, but this is one of the older ones.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, 4888, and the other one's from 4 days later. It says 4935. So at the very bottom there, bing ding, and then ding here at the very bottom. Pandora's political elite box.
And the elite has to do with these bloodlines that Q's always mentioned, and it also has to do with what P equals, which was like the Paysor family that has been covered, but it's worth bringing up given the fact that I put a little screenshot there according to AI that we can, and so the Pandora box and the bloodlines, which are the people that are behind the idea of the New World Order, they connect to a company called, the World Commerce Corporation that we've talked about. And, if you want to read this, please do. So put some context to this.
Pandora, based on the book Pandora's Box by Alex Christopher, specifically the updated editions, often subtitled regarding bloodlines or the New World Order, the text alleges that World Commerce Corporation, was that the same company that Marco Rubio and them were talking about? That was a court, right? That wasn't a business. That was a court. Okay.
That was the
International court, right? World Commerce Corporation was populated by individuals acting as servants or agents for specific old world banking families and, quote, bloodlines. The book posits that these bloodlines, often tracing back to the Knights Templar, the English crown, the ancient European nobility, utilized the WCC as a vehicle to consolidate control over global resources and finance. The following individuals associated with the WCC are highlighted in the text and related analysis as key figures serving these interests. Ding! Key alleged servants and figures. William Stevenson, identified as a central figure, a British intelligence veteran described as a director of the WCC. It alleges he's a crucial link between British intelligence, the Grey Men, hidden controllers, and corporate structure of the WCC, effectively serving the agenda of entrenched bloodlines to establish a one-world government. Edward Stettinius, the former U.S. Secretary of State. It seems like we got a lot of Secretary of State folks there, huh? Good. Glad we got Mr. Rubio in there now. Little Marco. Is portrayed as a high-level servant of these interests. It connects him to the Liberia Company and suggests his role in the WCC was to further the geopolitical goals of the families controlling the corporation, linking old world money to post-war American foreign policy. William Donovan, the founder of OSS, or the precursor of the CIA, cited in his text as having deep ties to the WCC, suggests that Donovan and his network of intelligence operatives were integrated into the corporation to serve the strategic interest of the bloodline, blurring the lines between national intelligence and family-controlled global commerce. Interesting. Frank T. Ryan. So you're basically listing out all of these people that are connected to all of this. So is this guy's basically listing out all of these people that he believes are essentially the deep state founders? I mean, so if we can kind of go these.
This is my, connecting the OSS and the CIA. So the World Commerce Corporation was functioning as like an espionage entity as you're covering it. And so you look into that, and I put a link to a interview, or I guess it was a podcast more or less, by a guy named Jason Somoza. And he traces this back also to the UFO UAP stuff. And so we have a connection between, the Q drops and also what we're being declassed with the UAP world. We do get a little hint that there was like a secret space program in the Q drops, but that's beside the point. I think the highlighting the bloodlines that Q does, we got to look back at history a little bit and find out, who's behind this, because it seems like it's a passed down generational thing almost, and obviously money's involved, a lot of it.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if you want to share. You can share. It's very long. I'm trying to find the exact flip.
You got any keywords that you know he's talking
If
about?
you, yeah, the world. Just type in the World Commerce Corporation. If you can use AI to pull that out, for some reason I couldn't do it.
You got
World.
what do you call it? It gives you the transcript now
Yeah,
on
that's what I was trying to do.
a lot of the
Okay.
different platforms. Sometimes I think if it's let's see, let me unblock this for the folks out here so they can see what we're seeing. Let's see, World Commerce Corporation right here. There's no information about the World Commerce Corporation, but there's this one forum where people have like written 20,000 words of like.
Let's start at the 2919 and see what he says there.
All right, Operation Gladio, where the World Commerce Corporation came up, and I was like, why do I keep hearing that everywhere? It's like pops up in Lavenda, pops up in Joseph Farrell. You know, there's no information about the WCC.
I think if you click it, it'll come up too.
Well, it'll come up to this part on the video where he's talking about. So yeah, it'll do that. So anyways, that said, I got a couple of things because if I play this, it's 50-50 shot. I might have to cut it out later. So if I read it, I definitely won't. It's literally 50-50. Like you just don't know. It says so. Anyway, with that said, I got a couple of other bits to talk through in terms of the WCC. Doing that so successfully in the World War II, whether the WCC group, this fraternity group, may have been then thought what we can working for the World Commerce Corporation. So again, you've got this business intelligence WCC through Thread, which is what we're charting. Vatican connections. Firstly, Wild Bill Donovan and John McCone, who are on the board of the WCC, are both Knights of Malta. That's big. Like the organizations of. All right, hold on, let me share it. Click on this. There we go.
Can you play it and put on CC?
Is it taking them that long to say the 3 minutes? Let me see. Because 50-20 to 53, I feel like I'm missing stuff here, and it's only pulling out the.
I mean, it's a great thing to go back to and pay attention to.
Just do it like this here, 50-20. I'll get rid of this. Go to 50-20, and then it will give us the point by point right there. See? Wild Bill Donovan and John McCone, who are on the board of the WCC, the Knights of Malta. You got 2 Knights of Malta here, which means that these people have a deep, close relationship with the Pope and a constant communication with him and the Knights of Malta. There's also a guy on the board named J. Russell Forgan. There's one thing I know about Forgan is that he was deeply involved in Peter Grace and his companies, the Grace Companies. That company is so involved in the deep state post-war era, but importantly, Peter Grace is a Knights of Malta. Knights of Malta as you can get. So Russell Fagan and the connection there to Grace is very interesting. Also Charles Hamrow, the guy who ran Special Operations Executive and also ran the Bank of England. Oh, just, the Bank of England, no biggie. He didn't run it, sorry. He was a director of the Bank of England, and then he ends up in a leadership role in the WCC. He has big connections to Vatican money, and we're going to cover some of that in part 2. It's not as big as the other 3 components. The Vatican has a seat to the table, and that's going to become really interesting when we proceed a little bit. Someone's just done a super chat. Okay, so he's thanking super chats. But, dude, I mean, here again, we got Vatican connections. And, dude, I don't know if you happen to see this.
Before that, he mentions, goes into even some of the individuals that make up the network. And, we just covered it with, like, Bill Donovan being one of them. And the UAP thing is also tucked in this. So this could be, it's wild because this would kind of show who's been like the puppet masters as Q, as alluded to. I can't think of any specific post on the top other than like P equals C, but we've been told that like P was Pesor, and the Pesor family dates back a long ways, and they've kind of been able to stay apparently under the radar because they changed their last names. So,
yes. Is this your post? Is this your graphic? I'm just looking. Is this your graphic?
That's Lisa's graphic.
Yeah. Oh, I should have noticed it right there. I was like, it's Max or it's Lisa's because I was looking for something. But dude, and I got all sorts of stuff too. Thousands of unmarked human bones found under the Vatican College. You guys remember that one from 2024? House of Horror. But what I was going to say really quickly is that we were doing our show last Tuesday, and we were talking about Armando had brought up Cuba, and I was like, well, what's the big problem over there? And he's like, well, the Vatican has their connections to, they got their teeth basically into Cuba. And I'm like, okay, so that's cool. And then, dude, check this out. I'm not going to play the short clip here, but you tab. So literally 9:30 that evening, he was talking about it, and he even said almost to a T what they said in their post, which is like, well, you don't have to be part of the Catholic Church, but it sure would be nice to get it, right? So literally the next morning, Marco Rubio posted this out talking about the connections inside of Cuba and to the Vatican. So they are a big time player out there for sure. And I would maybe contend one of the final bosses. Like, I don't know, like when you start parsing it all down, you know what I mean? Is there a little piece of some of those people in the Vatican, some of them in the UK? Because I really don't think anybody.
Remember, they're part of the city of the empire, which is DC, London, and the Vatican City.
They're all city states, yeah.
Yeah, they're very uniquely, I don't know, parceled land. They're identified.
It is weird.
We've always been told. I think through the Q post it was eluded as well. But I know a lot of other people have done research behind that and how the Vatican was the Roman Empire, and now we are talking about the British Empire. Well, those empires, what if they never really died? They just kind of transformed. So the Roman Empire became the Vatican to extend out. And I'm not saying it's, and this is just generalization as what it's been alluded to, so no one needs to get, too upset. But, that folded into the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, and then, the British Empire was formed because the Romans got all the way up to England, and there's a huge influence in there. So I'm not great at history, but that was my take on it from what I remember.
Oh, for sure. Let me just thank really quickly here. Who always bids us a good afternoon or a good evening there. But thank you, Mr. MacGyver. Sent over a $2 super chat on YouTube. Says, good evening, Patriots. And good evening to you, sir. And thank you to Mr. Red Pill 78 for rating us earlier. Appreciate that, brother. And then B1876 dropped a $2 Rumble rant and says, all already done. Sounds like a good way to disclose. Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to give out too much information until things are out and done, right? So you wonder how much of these things are done, how much of it are we watching after the fact? You know what I mean? Because it's wild out there, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this ride, dude. Like, the amount of fraud that we're seeing these people get exposed under is just absolutely wild. You had an additional part to this gentleman here. And actually, is there anything else we want to mention about the Pandora's box or anything like that? I'm sure we'll probably get more into.
Just recommend people to look into it because it really paints a picture on what we would call the elites, and this is being, I think, exposed to us, from the banking system. And how in our history and how we're fighting like a proxy war in Iran because of London and, the city of London. So that's another node. I don't know if I don't know what's going to happen with the Vatican and how if that's going to be exposed as much, but, we're learning as we go. And President Trump just brought up, what was it? The president of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, in a post today or two, and one of them was a meme, which is hilarious. But are we actually also going to find out who's been controlling North Korea? Remember the mountain that was blown up when they were doing a nuclear program that was illegal?
Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And I often wondered too, like, why was it seemingly so easy, right? Like, North Korea seemed like it was a snap of a finger. Oh, Trump went over and met him, but we know that he met Kim before that, privately. But you know, he went over, kind of made a deal, but it seemed like it was like snip, snap, right? And then, well, Iran's a little bit different, a little longer of a story here. But again, they're not going to give it up because it is such a key piece. And this is when you know all the, you know, you get all the idiot people that are trying to blackpill and tell everybody to hate President Trump coming out of the woodworks, then you know he's doing good. But
would you happen to have the clip of Scott Bessent talking about the Strait of Hormuz recently?
Oh gosh, I did have it actually as of yesterday, I think.
Because what he said was extremely telling and very good news.
Oh, dude, I mean, and that's the other thing, right? Like, people are just kind of, you know, thinking like, oh, Trump's just kind of a dope and, you know, he's, you know, just attacking and taking some information. And no, they set all of this stuff up. You know what I mean? And it's not only just an attack, you know, physically. They're attacking them monetarily. They're shutting them out from the world. It's gonna be awesome.
I recommend people to look up what seventh generation warfare is. It's about minimizing casualties in war, and basically not having any. So I think that's an aspect we need to take into account when there's a lot of military preparation and theories that they constantly are refining and coming up with in the military procedurally, because everything's a procedure, everything.
Certainly. Here is your clip here. I absolutely love this clip. Let's just make sure it's loud enough here. Mr. Scott Bessent, here we go.
Last March of 25, President gave me the order to apply maximum pressure to the Iranian regime, and Treasury did, and we've been going after, as you said, their bank accounts, crypto wallets, assets.
Wait, I'm sorry, when? Last March. So remember, guys.
Last March of 25, President gave me the order to apply maximum pressure to the Iranian regime, and Treasury did, and we've been going after, as you said, their bank accounts, crypto wallets, assets around the world, cutting off payments into both the leadership in the regime and the government itself. As a result, in December of last year, December of 2025, one of the largest banks, or the largest bank in Iran, collapsed. The central bank had to print money, created huge inflation. Then in March this year, or February, we started the kinetic war. The kinetic war ended after several weeks, and we went from epic fury to economic fury. And at the president's orders, we have raised the level even again. And watch this space for more announcements coming next week, because we are going to apply measures like have never been seen in the history of economic isolation on a country. And I think the reason we are succeeding is because it is a 1-2 punch. People say, well, Cuba lasted a long time, Venezuela lasted a long time. Venezuela immediately crumbled when we put the blockade on. So it will be a combination of economic isolation like the world has never seen before, and the continued blockade in the Strait of Hormuz that will keep anything from going in or out of the Iranian ports.
Boom. Love it, dude. Right? It's not just
and then he's got an
attacking
updated. He has an updated interview right there at 33 seconds on that clip where I don't know if you want to play it, but he says,
"Sure,
Strait of Hormuz is just going to be a body of water, and it's because of this economic fury and how they've been able to close them off."
Let's see here, 33 segundos. Oh, ding, 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 ding.
So that's August 6th of 2026.
16, yeah, 16. So yesterday. Oh, and by the way, happy 17th day, bro. And happy 17th to all of you guys and gals out there. Here we go. All right, play, maybe. Come on. If it doesn't want to play, 32 seconds. Come on.
Bessent told you what it was. Bessent told you what it was.
The strait is never going back to the way it was, because the Iranians have used or tried to use it as a choke point. What we are going to see over the next 2 years, the strait's going to become irrelevant. It is going to become just another body of water.
This isn't just about Iran.
There you go.
Not just another body of water. Oh God, I hate when it does this. Dude. How about this one?
Oh yeah, this is cool.
And after we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States.
It looks like he's trying to hold back the smile.
We have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them
to. Dude, it's so freaking funny. And dude, you notice Besant what he said too? He goes, "Oh, everybody said, Venezuela took long and Cuba took long." And I'm like, wait, they're done? I mean, Venezuela, yeah, we went over and took their president, but it's pretty interesting how he said it was done, essentially. Sounded that way to me.
I mean,
no?
they've completely complied with everything the United States have asked. I mean, I think, was it on Wikipedia that President Trump, remember, he was the president of Venezuela for a second, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, they're helping us out. But, Cuba, they're still needing and wanting us to, essentially take over or bring them into the fold. And, things are pretty horrible over there. Armando tells us he still has family in there, and their, power goes on for a little bit. Dude, imagine
Yeah, my brother's been to Cuba on a missionary trip. I guess you'd call it a missionary, with the church. And it's very poor, except for the government people and the wealthy.
And they don't pass it on.
Yeah, so it's like stepping back in time, definitely. And it sounds like that Marco Rubio has been in negotiation and team, but Cuba's been a bad boy for a long time. So I think that there's going to be some hashing out of terms, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cuba becomes a territory of the United States because they're so close. We already have Gitmo there too.
Yeah, that's been noticed as well. We in the YMCA at Gitmo, that's so freaking funny that they had one there. But dude, it's they make it seem like he's just kind of stumbling along, and we'll just go over there and bomb them and they'll give up. No, they're doing this very strategically. They're not just happening upon any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Making it look like he's falling over his shoelaces here.
They're just making up stuff all the time. I mean, the latest one that was debunked quickly was I think they said it was USS Liberty's bathrooms and everything were all dirty. That was a French ship. It was an old video. It was a French ship, and they just dubbed over it. It's ridiculous. So there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of foreign influence coming in, trying to influence us online. I'm starting to see that there's been a smaller pool of propaganda, but it's still there. So maybe that's because of the rerouting of taxpayer money. So we have to deal with all the bots. We still have some.
Did I tell you I got a tattoo the other day?
No, you did not.
A space shot tattoo.
Nice. Where'd you get it? Your lower back?
Right above the small stamp. Right above the small of my back. Had to do it the right way. The tramp stamp. No, my forearm. It's a little blurry here, but here you go. Here you go. Mac's thinking, is he serious? No, he is. What do you think? How fake does that look?
Nice.
Nice. So my son got a thing of fake ones, and I'm like, dude, that's a friggin' astronaut or whatever with a friggin' like a patriotic astronaut. That's a space shot right there. So yeah, it's a fakie. I put it on there, but yeah, might be maybe something to consider.
I think they got ones out now that last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So this will last a while unless I put Vaseline on it or rubbing alcohol. But yeah, that's how we have a little fun. We call it trolling. We do a little bit of trolling. But dude. Wait, I had something set up here, but I don't think I even clicked on it. Did I? All right, no, I didn't get it. We're getting more and more information. Dude, we talk about, I don't know if it was out was it out Monday of last week? All the stuff about sessions. I think it was by the time we hit the show. But like we're finding out even more of this stuff, more stuff going back to say Crossfire Hurricane, and we're even getting more stuff even in the last couple of days about Jack Smith and some of the things that this clown was doing. Let me see, where's this one? And then I know you got a couple things on one thing, or at least, and I added something with Mr. Syed, but where is the one I'm looking for here, guys? Jeez. Dude, I have so many links in here for today, it's not even funny. I'm literally scrolling along. But here we go, finally found it. And just when you thought, let's listen. I don't like him, but
this is what I don't understand. With all this information coming out, how did members of President Trump's FBI, President Trump's, Bill Barr, how were people not saying, hey, there's a problem here and we got to address this problem, particularly given the fact that this guy's got some of the most sensitive secrets of the nation, sir?
Yeah, it's funny. He gets added to the House Intelligence Committee right around the time that this case is unfolding. Obviously, he is in there in the first 2 years. So as she is beginning her efforts to get close to him, Fang is, and beginning to compromise him. He's not yet on House Intel, but he makes House Intel in time for 2016 election time. But if one of the questions we have,
just so everybody knows, they're talking about Eric Swalwell and the Chinese spy Fang.
At the task force and that we're going to be pursuing is, what was Congress told? What was Nancy Pelosi told? What were the House Ethics Committee told? Did they know this level of information, or did the FBI sanitize this information, much like it's been sanitized in the public for a long time, so we wouldn't know the full extent and the full danger of Fang and the relationship? I mean, one of the big headlines here is that they knew she had close relationships with the MSS, China's notorious intelligence service, and that her parents were senior officers or senior executives in the MSS. This was not some wannabe in America. She had the relationships back in Beijing to make this relationship very, very dangerous.
Dude. And it actually even gets worse, if you can imagine that. How about interns? Because what was Swalwell doing? He was... Remember, he was married, right? I believe he was married at the time. I know he's married now, unless his wife was smartly divorced his stupid ass. But this dude was married and dating this Chinese spy. Oh, wait, he didn't know. But, what did she do? Did she, I don't know, get any friends, some jobs in there? Let's see what happened. Oh, breaking. Miss Fang, Democrat Eric Swalwell's honeypot Chinese spy lover, managed to plant at least 2 interns in his congressional office, one of whom had access to a sensitive voter database, according to just declassified FBI investigative files. Like, dude. And did you hear what John Solomon said, dude, about who knew what and when? Like, dude, if they knew all this stuff and they didn't do anything about, you can bet your bottom dollar that's treason to the max.
Yeah, I think, was it mentioned that Comey gave Swalwell the report of what they found between Fang and him? Something along those lines. It's ridiculous. Like, the whole thing's, it's like one big mafia. They're helping each other out.
Let's see if we got anything.
Was it rules for thee, but not for me, or we?
Dude, it's so bad. But, Swalwell admitted to having sex with Fang, his staff placing Fang's interns in Congress, and not having a strong enough campaign finance system to detect the straw donations she allegedly passed through U.S. citizen conduits. Oh, Mac. Hey, Mac, I'm going to be setting you up with some of these donations. They're going to come in from wherever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he didn't know about that, Mac, right? He didn't know that she was donating to him? Right? I'm sure. And so it was either one of two things. It was hire these 2 interns, or I'm going to stop having sex with you, or or hire these interns, or I'm going to stop paying you. It's one of the two. You know what I mean?
Or I'll expose you.
Oh yeah, or 3. We can go down, avenue number 3, where I go and tell everybody and show everybody what the connections were. But I mean, this is just right here. Justice Department declined to prosecute Fang despite strong evidence of the illicit donations after she fled the U.S. as the FBI began interviewing her associates and raided her home. The early steps in the investigation were overseen in part by controversial prosecutor who? Yak Smith, who would later pursue Donald Trump on criminal charges. Isn't that nice, dude?
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, FBI was recruiting Fang to be a confidential informant through an undercover agent assigned her the code name Rusty Thumbs. Oh, dude, we got to be making a meme. I got to make a meme on that one later. Rusty Thumbs. That's too good not to make a meme on. I'm just writing notes here. Let me see. Copy, paste. Okay, dude, Rusty Thumbs. Like, who comes up with that? Planned to hire her through a cutout company. Was still evaluating her suitability as a confidential human source when they discovered her alleged criminal behavior. FBI knew early on during the recruitment that Fang was tied to China's Ministry of State Security, or the MSS, Beijing's notorious intelligence service. Also identified her parents as agents of MSS. Knew she was raising money for California Democrats and was willing to use sex as a means of getting ahead in the world of U.S. politics. Oh, this is going right to my Democrat friend. Right to his doorstep. I mean, dude, this dude is toast. And
I wonder if the nickname had to do with his sexual stuff.
Fang?
So,
you like to bite people?
Somebody should look up Rusty Thumbs in Urban Dictionary and see if there's any correlation. Keep it we keep it PG, but I have a feeling that it's probably in there, and I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, I haven't read it all. I'm just like, wow.
Oh, I'm typing as we're speaking. It's too good not to me. Sounds like rusty sounds like slang terms like a rusty trombone or a rusty trumpet, or a little joke about having clumsy, uncoordinated, or stiff hands, being rusty at a manual task. Can you tell me where you heard the phrase rusty thumbs so I can help you figure out if it means a specific video game term, band, or an obscure joke? How about
FBI nicknamed a spy.
How about crude joke? How about that? Urban Dictionary, Rusty Thumbs, crude joke. Rusty portage, rusty trombone. I'm not finding it, Mac. Oh wait, rusty.
Thumbone.
Oh, I'm seeing something about let's say butt sex and cocaine on a rusty penis. Oh yeah, okay, well, cut the last minute out of this. But I mean, dude, it's these people are just disgusting. I mean, you've seen the video of the dude in the friggin' hotel room, the 2 guys in the bed with the girl, and then the other woman, prostitute, whatever have you, in the background came over, looked through the window or the mirror, and then walked away. I mean, these guys are just sitting there living the life and living their best life or whatever. Like, you got to pay for sex, dude. I'd just, rather not have sex than pay for sex. You know what I mean? It's like half the battle. It's like the chase, the thrill of the hunt. You know what I mean? I don't know. These scumbags, it's just gross. And dude, all of the things that are being exposed in Congress, remember the video of the bun boys, I guess we could say, that released after the guy in the wheelchair was like, yeah, you got a bunch of perverts out here.
Yeah, a lot of nefarious stuff. The cocaine in the White House, there's been a lot of partying, and I'm sure there's a lot of debauchery that's going on.
Yeah, big time. Let's see. I got a very, very, very huge one today, dude. I don't know if you saw this. I'm sure you did. One of his first actions as Attorney General Blanche today finalized a federal regulation and launched a new process allowing eligible individuals who are prohibited from possessing firearms to apply for the restoration of the federal firearms rights. Quote, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right, and the federal government should not permanently deprive Americans of a constitutional right without regard to whether they pose a danger to public safety, said Todd Blanche. Quote, this rule establishes a rigorous, common-sense process that protects the public while giving deserving Americans a real path to restoration. Now, don't get me wrong, dude. I think, if people are crazy as the day is long, then, yeah, I think you probably shouldn't have a gun. You know what I mean? But I think they shouldn't be able to use, every little reasoning to keep people away from it. And again, the law states it shall not be infringed. It shall not be messed with in any way, essentially, in any way. So any restrictions that they put on us, whether it be you have to go apply for this license, you can't own it unless you have this piece of paper that, by the way, you have to pay for. Right? Any of those things. Magazine amount. It's like, oh, well, Mac, I know how we fix the crime. We don't let them have, 16 or 17 round magazines. We'll cut it down to 10. That'll do. It's like, dude, one bullet will kill somebody. Like, you think that matters? And again, what does it all come down to? It comes down to, all right, guys, we're all going to follow the law now. And let's say they all said guns are illegal. Okay? Everybody's going to hand their guns in. Well, now who has the guns? It's the military, the police, and the criminals, right? It's not the law-abiding citizens that you have to worry about. It's the people that are taking advantage of the system. That's the people you have to worry about. But really good, dude. Any
it's
comments
one
on
of the first signs of communism, is taking away your guns.
Yes, take the guns away, take away the media, too. Well, they need the media till they take over. Then the media goes.
I mean, it's there for a reason. It's number 2, right behind freedom of speech. So,
exactly.
Being number 2 to protect number 1.
Now, I forget. You brought one of these. I brought the other. So I forget which order it goes, but it doesn't really matter. We both brought some information on Mr. El Sayed here, Mr. Abdul. Abdul El Sayed's mother helped process tens of thousands in overseas transfers for an Islamic charity later convicted of secretly funneling $1.375 million into Saddam-era Iraq and blacklisted over alleged Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and Hamas ties. Charity was IARA USA, the American office of the Sudan-based ISRA network. 2004, Treasury blacklisted the global network, alleging that its officials supported Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and the Taliban. Nice, 2004. Elkami's link was not a one-time event for loose association. A contemporary report says she worked for IARA USA beginning in 1999. A newly uncovered federal filing puts her name on transfer paperwork and correspondence involving the charity's Iraq operations. Once transfer requests bearing Elkami's name sought $24,000, quote, to Iraq office. The next court-listed record describes the matching $26,000 wire through Arab Bank in Amman, naming ISRA as beneficiary. Not isolated. So it basically says she goes on and does this stuff a lot to help,
so it's
quote,
a Muslim
Iraqi
Brotherhood.
children. Yes, exactamundo. And then I got this other link here. Looks like it comes from Promethean Action here. I don't know. Did you must have dropped this one, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had a timestamp for it or just overall.
I think just the beginning. If I put it in there, it's usually just right in the beginning, first minute or so, I guess. I'm hoping.
All right, let's listen to Barbara.
British intelligence and their Democrat allies are attempting to bring the religious warfare of the Middle East to the United States. The media calls this organic politics. It's just young people rebelling against the atrocities of Gaza and the Iran war. But I see the British side war hand everywhere. Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden joined together this week to claim that Israel runs Trump and America. Laura Loomer does the flip side and says that Tucker has been captured by the Arabs and the Russians. And then in Texas, the legislature is considering a plan to ban hijabs and halal food. They're going all out to ban the Muslim religion. The real target in all of this? Donald Trump and the midterm elections. I'm Barbara Boyd. I've studied how the City of London's intelligence service...
Let's see if we can't find it quick here. Mr. El Sayed. Here we go.
Even more. Here's Abdul Al-Sayed on last Sunday's Meet the Press.
And I then watched the next year Barack Hussein Obama run for and win the presidency. I watched him serve with a level of class, a level of elegance that we could only pine for now. So I really enjoyed the conversation. I was grateful for his advice. It was very warm, very inviting. And I know that he knows the critical role that Michigan is going to play in holding Trump accountable, in winning back the Senate, and in building forward the future that we need.
Is he going to campaign with you, Dr. Al-Sayed?
Look, I really hope so. And it was a really good conversation about what we need to do to be able to win. And obviously, this is somebody who knows a lot about winning Michigan.
To win Michigan, you need the Black, Hispanic, and Jewish vote. The trade unions and the working and middle class constituencies that used to vote solid Democrat. Most did not come out for Al-Sayed in the primary. And the Muslim vote in Michigan was critical to Donald Trump's victory.
And somehow they couldn't win the black vote to take President Trump's side down, it seems, lately. So I don't know if she goes into it here, but essentially, this is another. Who else do we know is a Rhodes Scholar? What? I bet you there's probably a few presidents, but wasn't Bill Clinton a Rhodes Scholar as well? A Rhodes Scholar, a Soros-funded mayor, a Columbia grad who worked for a CIA front, stacked the biographies of El-Sayed, Mondami, and Obama side by side, and one pattern jumps out, and it leads straight to London.
Don't forget about Bill Gates and Melinda Gates and Arabella Advisors.
Their daughter. Even their daughter's getting into honey shit lately.
I guess Rhodes Scholars are kind of like an intel front for the British.
Yeah.
So he could be a double agent. She's saying for a CIA front. So, that's wild.
Dude, it's crazy. And, remember that last clip we were talking about? Fang and how the FBI was considering making her a confidential source, right? Well, do they realize that she would just basically say, "Oh yeah, I'll be a confidential source for you," but she's going to be spying for her side, right? Like double agent type of crap. It says here, the Rhodes Scholar is a recipient of the Rhodes Scholarship, the world's oldest and most prestigious international graduate program, established in 1902 by the will of British businessman Cecil Rhodes. Fully funds outstanding students from around the world to conduct postgraduate study at the University of Oxford in England. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Do you get the feeling that Bill Clinton, was he like a really good student in high school? I don't know. I just don't get that gist that he was a good high school student.
I know that he was well connected. I mean, he was a communist growing up, a self-proclaimed communist.
Classic
I don't know.
overachiever.
Then he linked up with the CIA to smuggle drugs from Colombia. Remember that?
Yeah, definitely. History porn here.
So, I have not dug into his past too much. Maybe I'll do that here this week. But I'm sure it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the idea that this guy is, I don't get the idea that he was like a big, but essentially it says this is him as a teenager graduating high school in 1964. And what AI said anyways is that he was a, quote, classic overachiever who excelled academically, served as a student leader, and achieved statewide recognition as a musician. Probably playing that tuba, whatever the hell it was there. But here's the previous year meeting JFK. I don't want to click on get something bad. Oh, wow, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never saw that before.
Now, what organization is that? Can you zoom in on the shirt?
Let's see. Can we? Can't really. That thing says St. Matthews. I think that says Florida.
Oh, well.
Looks like that movie Stand By Me. Remember the pie eating contest, the benevolent order of antelopes, or whatever it was. But yeah, as old Bill Clinton, and as you stated, right, he needed to come back to Mena, Arkansas, and the boys by the tracks or whatever they called it, where the boys allegedly saw some things they weren't supposed to see, and they got found indicted They got killed it. All right, so where were we? Al Sayed, and then let's stick into this stuff. We'll stick into this here. People running Biden, I labeled this one.
I would say the right-wing meme about Joe Biden.
Dude, this is crazy. That this person, not the person she's talking to, is actually saying this. This is wild. So we're not listening to the first full minutes. 4 full minutes. We'll probably listen to about a minute and a half.
Was that Dr. Joe Biden was sort of the shadow president, sort of running the country. What your book shows is that that's not totally far off. It's not Jill Biden, though. It's this group of tight advisors around Joe Biden I want you to talk about that you call the Politburo, which is an interesting word choice. Tell me about the word choice, and then tell me about those people who were really calling the shots around the president.
So the Politburo, not a term we came up with, it's a term from within the Biden administration, as the name would suggest, is a tightly held group of senior advisors. Mike Donnellan and Steve Ricchetti, foremost among them. You also have individuals floating in and out. Ron Klain, who's chief of staff for the first couple of years of the president's term. Anita Dunn, some senior individuals on the staff of Jill Biden, the first lady. Anthony Bernal, the chief of staff, perhaps the most powerful first lady chief of staff ever. And then another woman named Annie Tomasini. And so we would assess that it's basically the Bidens, Joe, Jill, and Hunter, and this tight group of aides. And they weren't like a star chamber. They weren't like all friends or allies. They all just had their different portfolios and did what they did. And these were the individuals that helped steer the government. Now, is that different from any other president? On one level, no. On one level, obviously, a first family has its priorities. And
on one level, yeah, it's extremely weird that the guy was, it seemed like he was most, his time was most focused on eating ice cream, if I'm being honest, dude, right? It's like every time I saw the dude, he had an ice cream cone in his friggin' mouth. But, the idea that he was running anything is laughable. And the idea that it was like any other presidency is absolutely laughable as well. Jake Tapper, dude. Movie deals or book deals can be lucrative, bro, huh? Freaking Jake Tapper, of all people. Are you?
Well, he just I had to go to the restroom. Sorry, he just publicly admitted that Joe Biden wasn't fit, and they had a group of people running it.
Politburo, the Politburo, not a term we came up with. Politburo. It's so wild, dude. All this fraud that we're seeing, I'm loving it that it's getting exposed, and it's really up to us now, us and the people that are tuning in, because remember, we are the news now. All of us collectively here, we are the news, and we need to make sure the other folks out there know this stuff. Dude, I friggin' red pilled the crap out of a dude. I got takeout the other day, last Friday, I think it was. Dude, I was like, do I want to do this? I'm like, okay. So put it this way. It ended with me saying, all right, next time I come in, I will bring you the link to that 2020 election interactive map, and I will give you the link to the John Brennan's handwritten notes about Trump and how they knew the whole thing was fake before they did that whole investigation. And he was actually into it. I was surprised. He was actually really into it because he goes, oh, you do podcasting? I was like, yeah, but I don't like to talk about it too much around here because, well, I'm a Trump supporter. He's like, oh, yeah, I voted for him. I'm like, oh, well, and let's have a little talky talk. So, but that's what we need to do, guys and girls. And the things that I was telling him about that, dude, he had no clue whatsoever. I was going over Pennsylvania and how you had all the various different counties that had, on average 5,000 to 7,000 votes, 80% for Trump. But then, little Allegheny County over here has 700,000 votes and they're 80% for Biden. He was like, really? And then, he had no idea about any of the stuff. I said, you know how Trump's been saying that Trump's going after his political rivals? And I'm like, do you remember all this stuff about how they said he was a Russian disinformation? So laid all that out for them. But that's what we need to do, guys and girls. And, it won't always go that easily. Like, he was very agreeable and just kind of letting me do my thing. But you might get some folks out there that just don't want to hear it or, might think you're crazy. Might think you're a little crazy, but I don't care. People think I'm crazy, right? I know I am, so I don't need the people to think I am or not. Let's see here. Got that one, got that one, got that one. I think you dropped this one, brother. And I think it was something that was somewhat referenced. Actually, I'm not going to click on that one just yet, but something that was referenced by Miss Barbara there. This is pretty crazy, dude. The French government has found hard evidence of election interference in France, Africa, and even Scotland's elections, not by Russia, but by an Israeli-based company called Black Core.
Yeah, we covered that. Remember that?
It's crazy. But the French government's now covering this?
Yeah, the French caught them. So they even caught them in the U.S. elections in New York. And Black Core, Mike Pompeo he was like on the board of one of their kind of side companies. Apparently there was no connection between the two, but if you look at it, one prepares and the other one executes. So, will it be proven? I don't know, but it's very interesting that, this is being handled by the French. And I believe, who's the guy, Ehud Barak out of Israel? He might be behind this as well.
Oh, I think he used to be the Bibi. He was the former prime minister of Israel. Yep. And I think he was Mossad as well. I think they probably all are. But Ehud Barak.
Every country's got a deep state, It's not just the country itself. Not the whole government. I think we've kind of shown that over the years, but just to re-emphasize it, because a lot of people are just pointing their fingers at Israel, like their Promethean action was saying, and we tend to get distracted by it. And it's actually, something completely different, and it's the British.
The British are coming.
Yeah, and the British are behind Muslim Brotherhood. So we can play a clip from that if we need to.
Well, just really quickly, remember another little key point really quickly about Mr. Ehud Barak. Oh, he really regrets knowing Epstein after documents detail their long friendship, right? This is an old thing here. Ehud Barak is among several political, business, and cultural elites found to have maintained long relationships with Epstein. Key part here is, guys, even after his 2008 guilty plea for soliciting prostitution from an underage girl in Florida. All right, so certain people, like if you were hanging out with this dude and then okay, after 2008, no longer, you might have some skeletons in your closet. But if you were hanging out with this dude after, I don't know, Ehud Barak here was, I don't know, Bill Gates was, right? Remember the divorce from his wife?
Wasn't it mentioned in the Epstein files that Epstein, his lineage, was protecting the Rothschilds? Wasn't that mentioned?
I'm not sure.
I thought it was. Well, the Rothschilds and the Q-posts end up being what are today's Pindar that we were talking about earlier with the bloodlines. The Pindar is the top head. It's usually a male Rothschilds. Well, in the Q-posts, I think you can recall, I believe the Soros family took over that. So from the public eye, George has passed down his wealth or the responsibility to Alex, his son. You remember Huma Abedin marrying Alex Soros. So you have the Muslim Brotherhood tie-in of the bloodlines here. The British.
The Rothschild. I'm asking as we speak, just to see, and we can continue on, but I'll come back and get the answer in a second. What I found out is ChatGPT is quick, and Grok takes a few secs.
Ehud Barak does have a documented personal and professional relationship with the Rothschild family. Ariane de Rothschild is the chairwoman of the Edmond de Rothschild Group. So leaked emails from 2013 to 2016 reveal that Jeffrey Epstein actively facilitated this connection, arranging meetings and dinners between Barack and Aaron Day Rothschild to discuss potential investment in Israeli technology and cyber weapon ventures. And it goes on.
Well, I got an answer. I asked about, did it have any connections to it? What the hell did it go? It was telling me over here. What the frick? Go back. Oh God, I literally just asked it. I said, "Is there any connections in here to Rothschild?" And it was like, "Yes." And I opened up the thing, and for some reason, this thing comes up, and it's not it. I literally went to go share. Let me see. Mentions one more time, and I'll just.
And isn't there a time, like years spanning, that are missing from the Epstein files still?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I would have to look it up, but I believe there's a couple years span where there's a pause in the files, which doesn't make any sense. So, and we've gone over that there are active investigations still involving the Epstein stuff. I have not heard of any case being concluded yet.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's partially being hidden in the Southern District of New York. And we just got, who was it? Jay Clayton? Is he now on board?
Yes, he is.
He came from the Southern District of New York.
Boom, dude. Yes, it's all.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
We'll do it. Yeah, and I got something very cool to bring up to you in a second as well. But to answer the question, I got an answer from Mr. Grok here. It says, yes, the released Epstein files contain numerous mentions of the members of the Rothschild family centered on Ariane de Rothschild. Noted there's more than 4,400 references in there from 2013 to 2019. Meeting arrangements in New York, Paris, personal confidences, gifts, invitations. She visited his private island once for lunch, according to the bank statements and file references. Let's see. Any mention? What do you say of him protecting?
Like family history. Like I thought there was a mention that his ancient Epstein family and the Rothschilds go way back, generations kind of deal. Like it mentioned, kind of like a bloodline relationship.
I wouldn't doubt it as well. Let's see what we got here. All right, and we'll pull up something else as we kind of go here. But all of this stuff is just peak mass exposure that we're dealing with right now. And again, like all of the idiots out there that are like, we need to see all the files. Trump's blocking all these files. Like, again, remind me who brought the friggin' Epstein files to the, grand part of the world? Yeah, that was President Trump and CPAC. Nobody gave a rat's ass about it at all, right? And then Trump brought it up, and then we're going to get the files. And then when he starts saying, oh, it's a hoax. Oh, no, we need to see those files. So I'm just pretty wild that people are not seeing for what it is. This one says no mentions in the release files of Jeffrey Epstein being related to the Rothschild by blood marriage or kinship. Might say lineage.
No, it was like the families had a relationship. There were separate bloodlines, I think, but the last name had meaning towards a Rothschild and vice versa.
Never know. We'll see. I mean, dude, that's the other problem with it. There's so many of these freaking emails and files to go through. It's just like, it's like good luck keeping them, And then with the various tranches of files that they're setting out. Oh, here's, one set of posts. Here's another set of posts. Here's another set of posts. It's like absolutely ridiculous. All right, I'm going to pull this up here. What do we got here? Help immigrants during posts. Oh, I labeled this one help immigrants during posts. Okay, what are you talking about there, Mike? Meta has a new message warning you, quote, to be careful when you search for mass migration related news like Quetta on Instagram, which includes a, quote, get migration information button that offers, quote, help with moving to a new country. That then takes potential migrants to a United Nations website with links for information for asylum seekers, as well as a UN app that brands itself as empowering migrants. Like, dude, it's like Everybody and everything is trying to flood this country and get folks in here. It's everybody's going after it. Absolutely wild. And we got more election interference exposed.
So
Oh, wait. Sorry.
There is a commonality with like dating back to, I think, the first family, like the oldest records of Ashkenazi Jewish families. Epstein is from Hesse. It's like a town, Epstein, in Hesse, Germany. And the Rothschilds are from Frankfurt. I think, I forget where they're from, but they're from German too. And so that's the bloodline connection, I guess you would call it. Of being
email.
friendly to one another's.
A little too friendly. Let me see. Any Epstein? There we go. I'm basically getting that. See if I can pull that up for you as well. But I think you had dropped this one here. Federal Appeals Court affirms Texas limits on mail voting and assistance. Fifth Circuit panel reversed an injunction saying challengers had not shown real harm. Vote a key here. Federal Appeals Court on August 12th overturned a lower court ruling and restored 9 provisions of Texas's 2021 election law, largely because the challengers lacked standing under 2 federal laws. Standing, if anybody didn't know out there, because wait, why is this happening? Dude, this is crazy. I keep re-asking Grok about any Epstein emails talking about Epstein's bloodlines or lineages, and I keep getting an error, like over and over, reset the page and everything. And it's like it doesn't want to answer about Epstein's lineage for some reason. We'll revisit that later. So anybody that's wondering out there what, standing was for, and remember President Trump and all his lawsuits that lost because there's no proof of election fraud. All of those lawsuits he lost, well, they were all rejected on standing, right? Standing means a party has to have a real stake in the case. So President Trump had no standing in his election case, whether he won or lost that case, right? No real standing. Very tongue-in-cheek if you're not picking up what I'm putting down here. But a party has to show that a law actually harms it or is likely to harm it in a specific way, that the harm comes from the law itself, and that a victory in court would fix it. The Texas law as SB 1, or Election Protection and Integrity Act, was passed after the 2020 elections with the aim of enhancing election security, especially for mail-in voting and ballot harvesting. Ballot harvesting, as we know, is gathering completed absentee ballots from voters and delivering them to election offices or polling places. Some Texas lawmakers and the appeals court say that both mail-in balloting and ballot harvesting open the door for fraud, though some states and research suggest widespread fraud is rare. Dude, it's rare. There's no widespread fraud going on out there. Several groups challenge the state's law, compensation, and ballot harvesting restrictions, voter assistance rules, and mail ballot ID and number matching rules. The law required voters to provide a driver's license ID number or the final 4 digits of a social security number that matches the state records on applications and ballots. The law also mandated that people rendering aid to voters must take an oath affirming that there was no coercion or intimidation involved, divulging their relationship to the voter, and reporting any compensation received from a candidate, campaign, or political action committee, or PAC. So does this mean they can't take 8 people with them to the ballot thing? Or wait, that's Minnesota, right? Eight people to the ballots? Bring 8 voters with you? Are you muted?
I don't know how it was going down. Yeah, I just know ballot harvesting was a huge problem. It's like, who's winning? We're down. We're going to drop off 50,000 ballots. Here you go. All fake.
Yeah, dude, super bad. One video, I'm not going to play this, but how one person can produce 8 votes, right? It's fairly simple, and I think this should be one of the things that is the most secure, and it's laughable, right? The way that they do the mental gymnastics to make people think that it's like racist to want people to produce an ID. It's hilarious, right? Remember, African Americans, they don't know how to use the internet, and they don't know how to go online to find the registry. Like, how insulting is that, dude? To they're just a bunch of dummies. They don't know how to use the internet, so we need to let these people, vote however they want. It's absolutely disgusting. And the worst part about it is you get the people on the other side that are like, yeah, we should be able to mail in ballot, no problem. Like, no, it is a problem. It's a big problem. We got the badge. All right, we got more judges. Check this one out. This one's freaking wild, dude. And if you guys aren't noticing and picking up what we're saying here, and also what President Trump is talking about and has been definitely shading towards, was one country that's been a big problem is, you guessed
China.
it, China. A big problem.
China.
Here we go. I had to pop that visual, that audio of President Trump saying China that you couldn't hear, Mac, but you'll listen to later. You can hear it. Natalie Winters here is saying, new Obama-appointed judge Indira Talwani, who just blocked Trump's mail voting order nationwide, received a Workers' Justice Award from the Chinese Progressive Association, a pro-China, quote, partner of the PRC. The group works with the Chinese consulate, including sponsoring a PRC flag-raising ceremony at Boston City Hall. Honors and awards, Chinese Progressive Association Workers' Justice Award 2012. Oh. I mean, dude, we literally have judges getting awards from the People's Republic of China. Unfreaking real. But hey, and then we got Fang over there. And just, if you thought that was a one-off, Dianne Feinstein had her driver or her assistant was a Chinese spy for 20 freaking years. So yeah, I wonder why California's falling apart at the seams, dude. I just, just can't get it through my head, why it is like that. Let's see. You popped this one down. I know you popped this one down for sure. Raytheon. President Trump and the White House say solidifying our firepower. This crucial investment will accelerate Tomahawk missile delivery to our warfighters at unprecedented speed and ensure our fleet is equipped with overwhelming American power. Department of War announces $22.9 billion contract with Raytheon. Accelerates the production of the Tomahawks. Oh, and then they reposted it. RTX, accelerate critical munitions production, war.gov. Mac, you got a chance to look into any of the UFO stuff that they put out in the last fifth tranche there? Some pretty cool images.
You mean the last one was, I thought it wasn't that great. You could pull a little bit of information up. Ashton Ford pointed out one of the videos is a similar camera as the MH370. And for anybody that doesn't know Ashton Ford and what he's been talking about, is there's a video online that has two of them at least, of a MH370 being circled by three orbs and teleported. It's hard to believe to see that it's a possibility, but the video shows a plane disappear in a blink of an eye, and it is has never been debunked.
This is it.
I
think this is part of it, right?
Yep, that's one of the videos.
That's freaking
so
wild.
He's been investigating who's been behind it, and I think it was James Clapper who was running this program.
Really?
It was either, which one's the general? Eric Clapper or James Clapper? I can't remember.
Clapper was the DNI. Brennan was the CIA dude. I think Clapper may have been behind it. Oh shit!
I'm saying Clapper. Is it James Clapper or Eric Clapper?
Oh, James.
Okay. Well, he was behind this program when this is during the Obama administration when this happened, and it was inside the executive branch that they ran these secret access programs, SAPs.
Yep.
And the theory is that they're covering this up, but there were scientists, I believe, on here that knew a lot about the microchips, and we haven't gotten the full story. We never found the plane. And in this video, you'll see it here in a second.
You can even see it right there, dude. I'll definitely make sure to play this.
The orbs are crazy.
Yeah, you can even see you see the
The
orbs.
trail.
Yeah, you see the trails of the orbs like going in that pattern, like super cool.
So they have some sort of exhaust that's probably naked to the eye. But they're using, what is this? This would be thermal,
Has
I
to be.
believe.
And never been debunked.
Nope. So this would be our first real hardcore example of teleportation, which would lead us into also additional hidden technology, which I've thought of.
There it went.
I've been saying for many years, fusion, having that unlocked by President Trump will do leaps and bounds for us. And, I don't know what else is going to come out. I know flying cars are on their way. I know Elon Musk has said that his flying car is not going to be like any other. So I'm assuming that it would probably use some sort of, hopefully, a different propulsion than what we're used to. But we'll see.
Crazy. Dude, you know what I'm really wondering? Like, what? So clearly somebody did the best to record whatever they were recording here. And, if this footage turns out to be legitimate and real, like, what were they doing here? Because this has to be a plane, right? You got to be recording from another plane. But what was all the
operation?
Yeah, like what was all this going on right before here? Because it almost looks like they put like a a ray of light down on them, and like they're looking for something here. Like, watch, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, all right, so there's a plane or whatever that is. I don't know if the plane just went by them or whatever. And then it's taking a left, and then what's this rays of light right there? Like what was that? That's what I don't know. Like, what is this?
That's a smoke trail or exhaust trail from the plane turning.
Oh, okay, so it's turning. Oh, okay, so it's the heat, and that's why it's kind of glowing because it's thermal. Would be my guess then. Okay, that's weird because it looked like a light.
The crosshairs that I think this is the original crosshairs from the video are unique, and they were shown almost the exact same one, if not the exact same one, in one of the UFO videos that they declassed recently. So Ash and Forb is, and company are putting that together. That Clapper was in charge of this program, and Obama and all them knew about it, and they called it from the White House, and they've never declassed it because it shows this technology.
Here it goes. 3, 2, 1, and poof.
So the Philadelphia experiment was, I always thought it was real, like I said, but well documented, stories or whatever they want to call it. But I'm pretty sure it's real.
I got to see what the folks in the chat are saying.
That had to do with teleportation also.
Definitely got to see.
And I've had third-hand account that teleportation is real inside, let's say, our military.
Very interesting. What are you guys and gals up to in the chat over here? Sean Lenane said that was more than 88 miles an hour. That's a good one. Let me see. Is that yes, that was the Malaysia 350. I think it was 350, right? 370. Yeah, 370 flight there. Bamlo, I think, was asking that. Yeah.
And there's variations of this, it's not all thermal. I think there's other ones as well.
That's funny, dude. Do you think that flying car insurance will be cheaper than the ground insurance? Bamlo saying. I would guess it would be a lot more expensive because you've more chance of hitting things and probably more chance to damage more things would be my guess. Definitely more than 88 miles an hour.
So the fact that you run into the World Commerce Corporation and then you take it through all the way to today, it's they can hide it through like the CIA and then other components. So that they've done a very good job of distracting from it. But the problem is the science that people have learned about, and I think we've had some people figure things out, and they've either disappeared or their technology's disappeared. And with the computers and AI, it's caught up to them. They've got to start doing some explaining because we got cameras everywhere, as you can tell.
Oh God! And you said there were What were the scientists were aboard? Like what were their?
I think it was computer chips. It had to do with computer chips. If you look up who was on board MH370.
Specialties. There we go. Ding. Yeah, I think you're right. I know it was something high tech, and I know it was something that people probably didn't want getting out to the public there.
So my guess would be like a quantum chip of some sort, possibly. But I don't know.
Chip.
You can only speculate, but looking up who was on board and the fact that he used teleportation is just crazy. So there must have been some importance to whatever was on that plane.
Oh yeah. And actually, thank you. Let me see. Patriot Chick saying to check my email, which reminded me that I had to check my email, and I did think about it about a half hour ago. I was like, oh, I got to remember to thank, and then I also got to remember to thank somebody who sent me over 3 iced coffees the other day. So Boney E sent over 3 iced coffees on Buy Me a Coffee. Says, love your positive energy. So thank you for that there. And then I guess I got another text message here. Oh, this is pretty cool. Thank you guys. Yeah, if you guys ever get any cool breaking news or things that are happening in live, just send me an email, spaceshot76@protonmail, and then let me know in the chat, and one of the mods will definitely get our attention. You'll like this one, dude. This is pretty cool. And I had not seen this, to be honest. There's just so much stuff going on, dude. It's so tough to keep track of absolutely everything. But check this one out. I thought this was pretty cool. Shasta County, which I think is what? Is that California? Shasta County ROV says he wants to hire Tina Peters next month. That's pretty cool, huh? Clint Curtis says he wants to hire Tina Peters as an assistant ROV. Registrar of Voters Clint Curtis announced he will be replacing current Assistant Registrar of Voters Brent Turner with Tina Peters next month. Curtis confirmed his plans with Action News in a text message. And as we know, she was convicted on 7 counts of election interference, had her 9-year prison sentence commuted by Colorado's governor when President Trump threatened to withhold federal funding. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and hopefully they can get things to a point where it doesn't have to be like it was, Mac, right? Like this whole thing about her having to use, like, you know, basically they made it look like a spy op, right? She had to use like somebody else's key card because they took her credentials away. You know what I mean? Like, so they made it into this thing that it didn't have to be. So ultimately she could do what? Was protect the gear that was entrusted to her, which is what she was supposed to do. She's supposed to protect that information, and she did exactly what she was supposed to do. How she went about it, having to get the other guy's thing, and how they made it look like a spy movie and this, that, and the other was a little BS. But at the end of the day, we all knew that the trusted build, the air quotes, trusted build that they were going to do was going to wipe the machines. And that's why she took a forensic copy of it before that, and then a forensic copy of it after that, and verified such. Absolutely verified. And what happened? She got friggin' thrown in jail for, I think it was, 4 years? Or I don't know how long she was in there for, but anything more than, a minute is too much.
Couple other things that have been implemented in the security of our elections is watermarking our ballots. So President Trump's alluded to it a couple times, and he's also hinted about ethanol. So when you think about ethanol, they use that on the paper ballots. You remember, like there's a very eccentric design that they make, and it can be used under ultraviolet light to identify the ballot. So there's that, and that's a patent you can look up. And then there's also a blockchain patent that the United States Post Office has to make sure that the ballots are fully verified as, filled out correctly, matched up to the person who voted, and passed around where there's different people that verify that information was done in that blockchain. So that's also a patent that you can look up.
Yeah, that is sweet. And I do still wonder about the 2020 election ballots, whether those are, how many of those were marked. because I think they were. I really do. I think that was a whole big sting up. I think that election wasn't even an election. It was a friggin' sting operation. I think they failed badly. Because I mean, dude, you go back and I could do it right now. Go to the boards, put in the word election. I think it comes up over 225. It's either 125 or 225 references. And if you go through those, they literally go through every manner in which they actually did steal that election, right? So it's like, wait, they're going to sit there and tell us for months on end exactly how these people were stealing things and how they were going to steal these things, but yet they never stopped them. Very interesting. I think it was a sting up. That's my personal opinione. Let's see. Seeing as we're talking about, well, I'll hold the UFO for the next one here, but this one I thought was pretty interesting. I know you had dropped this one down, and it says the former NASA warp drive lead just raised. Oh, actually, did you drop this one today? Because I dropped this to Hulk the other day too. This is interesting. The former
I think
NASA.
you dropped this.
Yeah, I may have. I thought probably dropped it because I thought I know you like this tech stuff, but. The former NASA warp drive lead, he had just raised $12 million to build a chip that allegedly pulls power from the quantum vacuum, and they say it ships in 2028. So, bro, is this are we talking like Tesla stuff here? You know how he had the box on the side of his house?
Does it have an article underneath? Because there was an interview done recently, I think on Danny Jones. And what these guys have done is you have to get them to outer space. So you would have to shoot a rocket, get them there, which, makes sense. They're different environments. You have the atmosphere here comparatively to what outer space is. And once you're up there, you can create a vacuum. And it's literally what I saw these guys. The guy called it a warp drive because the way you put these there's like copper plating and there's two styrofoams. And then you put them together and they make like a hollow box. And inside there is where the, he calls it a warp drive, but because he thinks it's cool, but it's not exactly a warp drive. And it will accelerate. It's interesting because the concept, it sounds like would theoretically work, but it would constantly accelerate all the way, all the way to, let's say, Mars. And it would take a short amount of time. And at a certain point, you would decelerate and you could literally form your own anti-gravity field inside the spaceship based off of there's the Casimir solution, the Casimir effect. This is something that's been coming up a lot.
They named it Casimir Inc. His company, dude. Casimir Inc.
So I'm not sure it's the same people, but people have been all over this stuff for a long time. President Trump did a fusion. Do you have that document, the fusion document?
Is it in today's pictures notes?
Let me see if I can find it. But he passed a fusion document, say 2023, I believe. Here it is.
This one right here?
No, that's a post that they did, which is just telling us we got fusion. It's the energy that powers our sun and the stars. So this is kind of like, they're going to mislabel a lot of things. I call it 0 point energy because there's so much energy that can be produced from a small amount of something.
Yes.
And this something that they're talking about is possibly another dimension is what they like to call it. But it's the energy it takes to kind of keep matter together, I guess, is the best, like an atom and electrons, that matrices of energy to keep that together from falling apart is what they're describing as kind of like the quantum vacuum. And the quantum vacuum has a lot of energy in it that they can pull from. And this is stuff that Tesla was onto.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of good stories, and I think there's a lot of stories that have been maybe manipulated. There's a lot of science and inventions that he came up with that are still classified. And he was a very rare individual that thought definitely outside the box. There's other people as well that have since then, and probably even prior, have done similar things. But I always use him as a reference because we have a lot of information about him, and it connects to Trump too. Uncle John Trump, who was the MIT professor that handled Nikola Tesla's documents after he died.
Yes.
So in the bottom of the chat is the post in the article. So from the Department of Energy.
This out of there. Bing, ding, ding. The Department of Energy. Okay.
Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
Ding, ding, ding. This one?
Yeah. So you click the link there. It'll come bring up the article.
Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. U.S. Department of Energy. Oh, and I thought the dollar amount was cute again. U.S. Department of Energy announces selectees for a $107 million fusion innovation research engine collaboratives and progress in milestone program inspired by NASA. Interesting. New awards from DOE will support acceleration of commercial fusion energy towards viability.
So in that title, it almost tells you that NASA has fusion inspired by NASA. Thanks, NASA, for the patents and all the information to create commercial fusion energy. Is how I'm reading that.
Yeah.
So they've had this essentially, and I think he passed it in 2000. Where I had it here in a second. The milestone-based fusion development program is what it's called. It was initiative authorized by Energy Act of 2020, signed by President Trump on December 27, 2020, administered by the Department of Energy. Primary goal is accelerate the commercialization of fusion energy by supporting private companies in developing designs for fusion pilot plants. So we have taken off the restrictor plates and we're exploring new types of energy, which is exactly what we need.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm excited. And in this fusion process, we're going to come to find out that you can unlock other technological things such as teleportation, warp space-time, just based off of what the science says, and they've been able to apply it to real life. So whatever they let us. So a lot of these UAP videos are actually human stuff. I'm sure there's aliens at some point. They're probably a lot more intelligent than us if they do exist because they've been able to stay so hidden from us.
Oh yeah.
So I don't worry too much about the alien stuff. I'm really interested in the technological stuff, but I think the alien will play a part in the storyline, which is also exciting because that makes it like biblical and a historic moment that we all get to participate in. And it's not a wartime. It's it's peace and improving humanity. It's fantastic.
Let's hope it stays that way, right? And actually, I want to read. I'm going to thank a couple people, but I also want to read something. This is actually a Rumble rant from yesterday. Really quickly, though, I want to thank Mr. D Starboy. Thank you for gifting out a subscription, which he did yesterday or in the day before, I think, and the day before. Mr. G Fonts on Rumble dropped $1 holler. Says, I can't believe I'm voting for a Florida judge. For a Florida circuit judge, born in Massachusetts, grad of Boston College, University of Chicago Law versus ambulance chaser, took over lawsuit against opponent, forcing her recusal. Hey, Florida circuit judge, born in Boston. Yeah, believe me, I feel for you, brother, and I live amongst these cretins. And Josie Ann, thank you so much for gifting out 5 subscriptions to the channel. I do appreciate that very mucho. And this is the one I wanted to read to you, Mac, because it had to do with not this one. There you go. This one, this picture right here specifically. I think anyway, because
so the story. This is the other point. Great point here is that the Air Force, I believe, is preventing the real footage from coming out. So we're being stonewalled a little bit. So now that it's public, there's probably going to be pressure for this to be declassed even more. But reminds me of the Phoenix Lights that shaped the triangle, you remember? And the TR-3B, which is...
what was that, 97 for the Arizona lights. That was wild, dude. But dude,
here's a video of a TR3B, the best one I've ever found, and it was on YouTube. Never seen it debunked, and very realistic. This is before all the AI stuff. Right there in the chat.
Okay, I'll definitely get to that in one quick second. But see this image right here? So it says basically this image, artistic interpretation of a reported incident above Bagram Air Force Base, Afghanistan, potentially involving identified anomalous phenomenon. This one says June 2002. Bill a Drill in YouTube yesterday's stream, he dropped a $5 super chat and says, I saw this triangle ship take off from Kandahar airfield in 2013, watched it for about 10 minutes and it made no sound, traveled slowly. Interesting. So, and dude, we've already talked about my my sighting of whatever that was, right? Like I made that little short video of it. The humming blue light that went past us. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's about as fast as it was. And yeah, I truly believe, because my buddy swears to this day that he saw like windows in it, and he claims it was more of a like a plane or a ship than it was like a UFO or anything. From my perspective, it was just I couldn't make out what it was. It was just too bright of a flash of blue light for me. But people have seen plenty of things, dude. And what did President Trump say recently? I don't know if he said it or he's going to consider it, but didn't he talk about like declassifying or removing people's NDAs?
Yeah, he removed them. I think people have requested, one guy being Eric Davis, who's got a lot of, I think he's got patents and papers out there on this stuff. He's been mentioned a lot recently, and he said there's people out there that say they know stuff they can't disclose. So he personally made a video requesting that his NDA be waived. I'm sure there's an official process. Once President Trump says it, that means it is law, I guess. And so there must be documents they have to prepare, maybe. I'm sure there's some technical stuff going on and what they can and cannot say.
Yeah, I'm looking on his True Social, and I'm seeing stuff where he's backing. NDAs are perfectly legal and common. This is 2024. And he's talking about other things, but totally legit, legal, and accepted. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can he do that though as a president? I mean, if it's a government corporate,
national security, yes.
Yeah, if it's a government, for national security, but if you have private companies, they can't. I wouldn't think, unless they're, doing work for the government.
The big thing that they're covering up is this 0-point type technology, because it breaks the slavery system that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to rely on all this oil and wind power or anything like that. It's now clean, clean energy that's almost unlimited. Yeah, so it could put the world in a bad place if it just all came out at once. So that's certain things that President Trump has asked certain individuals to look at the effects if that stuff came out about the UFOs. So, and I can't remember what time it's been. He's asked about it a while back. So this has been on his, I think, agenda for a while to have this happen. And and even before President Trump, there's been talks of a disclosure process. Now, the bad people were in charge. They didn't want any disclosure process because it kept them in control, centralizing government and money and all that stuff. One world order. That was their objective, and keeping this stuff and blaming climate change on, humanity, and saying there's not enough, the weather's changing while they're doing it with, advanced weapons, and they're, causing earthquakes and all kinds of weird stuff that we don't have access to, but it's possible. Yeah. And just like with MH370, all it takes is, I guess, some orders to teleport a plane at a certain level.
Right. But dude, it will make such I mean, in the Q drops too, they talk about we're going to show you a whole new world, right? Like it literally
This
would
is
be
it.
that big. Yeah, I mean, we talk about the difference, like, oh, Trump wants to get the a gallon of oil down to $2 a gallon or whatever, right? But we're over here arguing between like, oh, well, gas is $4 or $5, we need to get it down to 2. If they get 0 point energy, you're not going to snap your fingers and have vehicles just go on automatically. Like, we'll just like this, we'll be driving gasoline vehicles, I'm sure, for the rest of our lives as well. But so you'll have the ability to use it if you want to. But dude, like, what do you like if this stuff came out? What do you think a gallon of oil or a gallon of gas would be if 0 point energy was out? Like 10 cents?
Yeah, it's going to go down a substantial amount. I mean, there is some massaging of the situation because our dollar, because of Bretton Woods, is attached to oil in a way. It wasn't to buy oil, you'd have to buy it in a dollar. So with that would kind of have an impact on our economy. Now, Trump and company have already known about this, and they're implementing it. It's a slower process.
Yeah. And this is wild. Thank you to CS CS no C Shaff 0812 dropped the $5 super chat on YouTube and says, "Can't believe Alexander Vindman is running in Florida again. I thought he was exposed with the Russia hoax." Dude, I can't believe he's still running around free to go out there, him and the friggin' twin spies. Because they were absolutely...
Yeah, they're spies. I don't understand it myself.
Right?
They lied in Congress. They committed treason. I mean, we're all waiting.
God, dude, look at this. Wait, when is this?
Hey, show that TR3B video.
Oh,
it's
okay.
very interesting.
I 100% will, and I do want to see it too. But just look at the faces, dude. I'm not even playing the sound for you, but just remember look at the old faces.
Mr. Vindman.
There's Vindman there, the turncoat. He's backing up remember, look at Nunez from back then. Alexander Vindman lied to Congress about the fake CIA, quote, whistleblower Eric Charmella, CIA Ramella, as part of the fake Ukrainian impeachment of Trump. Alexander's twin brother, Eugene, now a congressman, aided and abetted in this. All masterminded by John Brennan, Schiff, and Norm Eisen. All these freaking scumbags. I mean, dude, it was they did everything they could to try to take him down. But yet, somehow, wink, wink, he fought through all of it. When I play him the Dr. Phil one or this one above it, brother? I forgot.
That one first.
TR3. Ooh, I don't think I've seen a daytime one of this.
Yeah, this was on it was military, say, underground channel the first time I ever saw it. And it's pretty interesting. Here we go.
Any sound worth listening to?
I mean, you can hear it go by here if you put it on.
Oh, shit.
That's got to be fake, no?
I don't know. I've always kept it. I was one of the best ones I've ever seen. And then the next part, it's like music, so you can turn it down. It'll slow it down and stuff. But this is the type of technology, like a TR3B anti-gravity type. And you heard the hum as it went by. So it's a different type of propulsion. And it reminds me of magnets, so.
It'd be like slightly spinning.
Mm-hmm. Word is there's spinning things inside of it as well, so. And some of there's different types of technology is what I'm coming to the conclusion of. So even in these different shapes and variations of whatever we're seeing these UFOs.
Remember seeing the nighttime one over like UK?
Man-made. What's that?
You remember seeing what I think they called it a TR3B over like UK? It was like nighttime, and that one, who knows, could have been fake.
Yeah, I mean,
like we know they definitely exist.
There are patents for the TR. There's plans. The TR3B is nothing new. They've kept it well hidden, but It's something that was around for a long time, and there was public sightings, a lot of them.
How about this one here? This is 19 seconds. If I can get this.
Oh, the Dr. Phil clip is with David Grosh, who's pretty much leading the way with, on one side with the disclosure process. I think he's part of the good guys side. And he talks about aliens and stuff. So probably should listen to that too.
Absolutely. So this is it. Let me see here. Way at the top. He had the 3 lights, and then so I don't know if the early, if they ever changed it, but or maybe it was fake. I don't know if you guys and gals in the chat have seen the other one, but apparently what the one that I saw was like this. It had the 3 lights on the corners of the triangle, and then basically there was like on the center of it was like a circle in the middle of it essentially, and that started glowing, and then it went poof. Who knows? That could have been fake too, but whether these videos right here are fake or real, they actually do have these machines now. So we don't need to wonder if they're real nowadays. They are. And dude, if they are showing us this stuff, then, we know that they've had it for probably, 40 years or so?
Do you want to see one that happened it was in 2020, that happened in China? I spotted it, but not a whole lot of people took notice, but it created a huge, lightning bolt of charged particles, I'll say.
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at it in the chat. Put it at, a minute.
All right.
There's different angles. Oh, yeah. Let's listen to this.
Ding, ding, ding.
These pilots or occupants of these craft, to your knowledge, been taken alive?
Yes. And I know people who have had direct interactions in a detainment situation, which sounds very Star Trek and sounds very crazy, but it is true. And I talked to a former cabinet member about that, who directly worked the issue for a particular former vice president. You can guess which one. Darth Vader.
And were they able to communicate?
Yes. And it is true that some sort of consciousness communication, of course, people call it telepathy. I cannot begin to tell you how it works, but there is some sort of communication like that. And even friends of mine that were on retrievals felt that kind of communication as they approached the vehicle when they were doing cordoning it off, waiting for transport. How that works, what that means, I certainly don't know. I'm as curious as the average viewer on your show on how that works. And it does feel very Star Trek to me. I have no personal experience with anything like that that's outside of my normal, human experience. But that is indeed, what people have experienced in the government with.
Telepathy makes sense, right? They would use their mind power, and whether you can do telepathy or not, they can probably read your mind. But I wouldn't doubt that, dude.
And that gets into, what they've said. They've retrieved some of this technology, and it's operated through their mind. So that's a science, I believe, that's been being researched in the background. And I don't know how far they've gotten, but you can gather some evidence from that from Mr. Elon Musk and his implants and how you can integrate.
Crazy.
I'll just leave it there because I'm just extrapolating a little bit from, as Candace Oben says, extrapolate. I'm extrapolating, knowing the fact that, no one else can experiment on this stuff except for top secret stuff. There comes a point where the government's going to come knocking on your door. So the only people that can do it are in these projects.
I mean, dude, let's say me and you saw, we're out, whatever, we're at the mall, right? And we just walk outside and we see a UFO there and we start recording it, right? We get a perfect shot of it. Nowadays, people are just going to automatically just be like, no, it's fake. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you could get the best footage no matter what it is, and people are just going to chop it apart and say you're a liar or you're a crazy man or whatever. Like, I think I've talked with you guys about the one that I kind of believe, I lean towards it's real, that Dr. Jonathan Reed, the guy who was out of like Washington State area, I want to say, said he was walking with his dog one day. His dog started barking, went up over the hill, and basically his dog jumped after this alien, and the alien essentially like ripped his dog's head off and killed it. He went up to it, hit it with a friggin' with a log in the side of the head, and then I guess killed it or whatever. And then he has recordings of old like crappy 90s recordings of him filming this thing that looks like a coffin. It looks like a lengthened diamond shape, deep black, like super deep, like coal black, and it's just hovering there. And then he records it and brings it back to his house and everything, wraps it in this like foil almost, and then I'm like, this is probably fake or whatever. Oh, and then this guy gets into an elevator at some, he may have even been at the courthouse or something like that, but he was in the elevator and the elevator door is just about to shut, and the guy next to him shoots him in the chest, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and runs out the door. And it's like, what? Somebody tried to kill this guy, and they went back to his place, and they found that they had taken the body of this thing, dude. Did I ever show you any of that stuff, dude? That was wild.
No.
Dude,
I'd
love
have
that
to
stuff.
see it to remember if I even come across it. But I've seen a lot of videos out there.
I'll just show you a screenshot of it rather than playing the whole video. But once you see the thing, you'll be like, okay, yeah. So like this is it, and it looks so like fake at first sight. But when you go in and look at like, he literally has like close-ups of it. He's playing with the eyes of it and stuff like that. And then there's one part of the footage where he's in the woods allegedly after he hit this thing in the head, and he's going up to the diamond-shaped thing, and he's literally uncontrollably hyperventilating, like. And I'm like, dude, either this dude is going through it or he is like the best actor I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Because you could sense genuine panic in this dude's voice. I don't know if there's anything from the woods footage, but he's literally like, like freaking out, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, sounds like genuine panic. Never know, though.
I just the thing just doesn't look real. That's what the hard part is.
No, it doesn't at all, dude. But if he gets up like close to it and actually starts like he messes with the eyeballs and stuff with it, and again, we don't know what anything would look like. You know what I mean? And that's ballsy.
Yeah, 100%.
To get that close there, and then he actually gets in there and messes with the eyes and like opens it up and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I'll drop this if anybody wants to watch this later on. But, who knows? I mean, one really good ruse, but it got to the point where unless they faked that story too, somebody shot this guy and then ran out of the elevator like, whoops.
I've got
YouTube video coming at you guys. Bink. And pilled. Bink. There you go. What you got, bro?
Rally, here we go. So the UFO phenomenon, there's something I came across, I think it was like today, but Aleister Crowley, you know how they got into like a lot of these. Yeah, that one started at a minute, or you can show the whole thing. But back in 2020, this happened in China, and multiple people called it on camera. Now, when we get to the minute mark, you can actually see a flying object. I don't know. I've never seen anything prior to this do something like this.
Oh, so you got it from different angles or whatever this was.
There's a bunch of angles. Yeah.
I was like, at first, it almost looked like it was like lava, like being splashed off the side of a building.
I know. So here you can kind of see the flying object come after I think it hits. It's right there.
Oh yeah, I just saw it.
There's the object. And then it hits.
The frig, and then there it is.
So there's a better angle coming up.
Is that a bag or something like that?
I think there's something on the window here, so you just got to be careful. So that happened there.
Yeah, this thing's stuck to the window.
Yeah, in the next clip, right there. See the flying thing right there, and then it flies away. It's gone.
Oh damn.
So I've always wondered what that was.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Anybody in the chat seen that or know what that is? I mean, we have some
So yeah, there's been a couple different instances I've noticed from footage that's been posted online where I maybe that one's like almost like a TR3B. The other ones were kind of like white discs or maybe orbs during the day that I saw. Remember Elon Musk, his second to last rocket? He was down to the last rocket. The one before that, there was that orb that went by that blew up the rocket. And if you slow down the video, you can see that orb actually blowing up. We've brought it up on the show in the past.
Dude, this thing's wild. I mean, I would have said,
Yeah.
if you only saw one angle of it, I'd be like, yeah, it's AI, it's fake. But like, dude, you literally have what 3, 4 different, maybe 5 different shots of the same whatever the hell this was. That is wild.
Since then, there's been a couple fires, like where the side of the whole building's like in flames, and it's similar to maybe like this little streak thing, but like the whole front of the building or the side of the building got nailed.
Wonder if this is like a big piece of fabric or something like that. It's almost, because it's so slow moving, it almost looks like it comes off this pole or something, but
it goes behind the building.
Whatever it was, it's, and again, what happened to that building? Like, it almost looked like it vaporizes it, but then it doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? It looks like it's turning it to dust, but then it didn't. I don't know.
I don't know. It's so different it's not like a lightning bolt. It's almost like a plasma bolt.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I'm just looking in the chat because I know we got a lot of very
See how it just
folks.
engulfs the whole building almost right there. Right there, that is not a bag. That's a pretty big bag if that's a bag.
And then it even, whatever it is, looks like it straightens out.
And it's like shooting at that area. So, all right. I've got all kinds of stuff. That's why I was saying, if you want to ever do a show where we talk about this stuff, show some videos, some different things that have been around the internet, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was China. We have some people asking. So that was China, looks like.
In 2020.
2020-ish. Yeah, so heat vaporizing the water in the air. The Diligent says the heat is vaporizing the water in the air. But yeah, like, what's making that freaking, like, glowing, though? That looks like...
It's different. Yeah.
It's definitely different, dude. I've never seen anything even close.
Looks like to me, it looks like a direct energy weapon type of one.
Yeah, like it almost like it like fizzled out. But I do agree, it does look like waterish. You know what I mean?
Because the usual weapons they use like combustibles. This isn't like a combustible. This is like a energy weapon.
Yeah, it's almost like a energy weapon that didn't focus. Maybe it kind of got all like diffracted or something like that. But it does look almost like liquid-like in the way it acts. Like it kind of goes down like a wave almost.
Yeah. Well, I say like molten. Like sparks, molten, I don't know. Plasma is what comes to mind for me. But yeah,
That's wild.
Like, it's strange. But anyway.
Definitely. I love that stuff. Yeah, no, that's definitely that type of woo stuff is definitely in my wheelhouse. But you said 138 from Crowley here. Let's see. 134, 130.
I think it was 138. Yeah, where aliens come from. So right around there.
See what we got here. Unmute and then show the folks.
The JPL. Yeah. Some people say JPL is actually not jet propulsion.
That's Sean Stone, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone's son. Yeah. So he'd be connected.
It's an interesting interview, but this was interesting because I didn't think about this correlation. A lot of this he talks about when he was in Freemasonry. He did a lot of rituals, and he describes them as plays, and you'd go like north, south, east, west. But he talks about also being like bothered by demons. Like, I don't know, it sounds like he was getting messed with maybe, but at the same time he said he's coming out with a documentary. It's going to be free of all the things he saw when he back in like 2010. and he doesn't really go into much other than, I've given a brief synopsis, but it's very interesting what he says here.
Take a listen here.
I mean, that's one of the theories about a lot of the alien stuff, right? Is that like they're okay. So one of the theories about it is that some of these beings, these aliens that have been showing up, are demons that have been like portals that have been opened by people like Aleister Crowley. So like, it wasn't Crowley. It was his acolytes. Hubbard from the Scientologists.
Parsons.
Hubbard and Parsons, right? So Hubbard goes on to found the Scientologists. Before he founds the Scientologists, he's working with Parsons, and Parsons is like, and that I think he was writing Crowley about Hubbard. He was like enamored by Hubbard. He's like, this guy is like so thelemic. He's so willful, And Parsons had head up the OTO here, right? In Pasadena, not here, in Pasadena, in LA. And Parsons was a rocket scientist. The JPL.
Yeah.
Some people say JPL is actually not Jet Propulsion Lab. It's Jack Parsons Lives, right? So brilliant guy, ends up dying in a weird freak way that makes you wonder what really happened. He blew himself up or something, which...
Also, L. Ron Hubbard stole his wife, I think.
He did. He stole his girlfriend, I think. He became his wife.
Yeah.
But before that, they did a Babylon working.
Babylon working?
Yeah, Babylon working. It's called.
What does that mean?
They were trying to, bring on, what was it? The Scarlet Woman, I think? I think they were trying to invoke the Scarlet Woman from, Book of Revelation kind of stuff, right? Bring on,
So you pause it right here?
The Scarlet Woman. And that becomes...
So he talks about these portals and how these occult and secret societies, they do these rituals that open portals, and they call and summon in these spirits or deities or demons, and it's a pretty interesting interview. He doesn't get in a ton of detail like I was hoping, but interesting nonetheless.
Definitely. I mean,
the occult portal stuff, yeah, it's really weird. And he associates what Crowley was doing with the start of the UFO phenomenon, which UFO phenomenon's been around prior to 1933. It's depicted in, lots of art and so forth and literature. Even the Bible, can be interpreted as, describing that.
He's got a phone call from a demon saying, "Are you a sorcerer?" Shows up. This is wild stuff. I'm telling you. Start messing with this. Things happen. It opens portals, but some people think because the 4 ritual was in 1946 that it opened the door to the UFO sightings starting in 47, right before Roswell was the first major wave, and then Roswell's right around July 4th. 47. So people thought that this was actually they were doing these workings and opening portals to these beings to come through. I would not doubt that in any way, shape, or form. You start messing with these things and inviting things from different dimensions into this place, or maybe they didn't even know about it. Oh hey, there's a thing over here. It's making this big blip. Now we need to go see what that is. Or, we're getting too strong with our nuclear. Also you have to think about all the nuclear testing we were doing, all the big bombs we were setting off, also into our, what was that island there? The 3 Mile Island or whatever, that we kept throwing these big bombs up into the ionosphere. And I'm sure our representatives probably got some visits from some higher intelligence folks hey, let's pump the brakes, guys. You're going to mess with the ripple of life throughout existence here when you mess with this nuclear stuff. That would be my guess anyway, but mess with that stuff. It'll come back at you. But dude, yeah, I love UFO stuff. We should definitely do a whole UFO episode someday.
Yeah, there's a documented, and I don't know, it was the 1500s of a battle over, I think, a town in Germany. And that was Nuremberg. Yeah, here it is. Nuremberg. I'll send you it into the chat. Oh. And there's actually a famous painting on it, and it's depicted in this video. But there's a famous painting where that's in the sky. And,
Ezekiel's wheel?
No, I don't know, but it's the Nuremberg celestial phenomenon. April 14, 1561, in the early morning of April 14, 1561, between approximately 4 and 5 p.m., hundreds of residents of present-day Nuremberg, Germany, witnessed one of history's most intriguing celestial events. The primary account comes from Hans Glaser, a printer and woodcut artist who published a broadsheet only weeks after the event. His woodcut and accompanying text describe what hundreds of people inside and around the city also observed: unusual shapes near the sun, according to this account and others: red, blue, and black spheres, crosses, objects resembling cylinders or tubes, reddish arcs, and a massive dark object described as a black spear pointing west appeared in the sky. The text states that these forms seemed to move rapidly and fight one another for about an hour. Afterwards, many of the objects reportedly fell beyond the city walls as if burning, producing large amounts of smoke. To this day, there is no scholarly consensus of what was actually observed.
Huh. I mean, dude, Battle of Los Angeles, 1951, whatever, over D.C. You know, we had what they called the Battle of L.A., where they were apparently shooting stuff.
1952, Washington, D.C., 1952. They had the orbs above the Capitol building.
Yeah, and there is video of that too. You know, I could show folks that. And even, I think there's footage of the Battle of Los Angeles as well.
There's at least a picture. I'm not sure if there's video of it.
1942, it says, huh, for that Battle of L.A.
So, like, 1933 was a well-documented case of a UFO crash in Italy. And, you know, that's kind of where I went back to so far, and trying to connect the dots of, you know, like with the World Commerce Corporation, who was prior to that. And obviously it seems like it's somewhat of a playbook that they're using and hiding money and so forth.
Big time, I would say. Big time. Let me see. This says actual footage of the 1942 Battle of LA. So I don't know if it is. Let's take a little peek-see. It says Battle of LA, Los Angeles, California, February 25th, 1942. I don't know what they're showing here exactly. LA area rated. So I don't think that could be actual footage, because that looks like it's above, unless it's a friggin' spy ship. What year was that UFO?
No, where the
over Washington?
spotlights is where the UFO is, and then they're shooting at it. So it's tough to see. If this is the real footage, you can see the little white spots, and it never took it down.
Yeah, it was saying that it was.
So there is a photograph that shows like an object in the middle of those spotlights. I don't know if it was a rendering or what.
That's wild. And what year was that other one there? It was 1561, right? Where was that one? The last story that we showed, 1561, and the what country was that? Did it say?
Which one? Germany. Wait, which one?
Yeah, the 1561. Well, that was Germany.
Yeah, it was. Nuremberg, Germany. Ironically.
Really, that's pretty wild, dude. But dude, yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff that we have not been told, and of course, they're not going to let us know about. But we do get some of this stuff, and I know there was actual video like this, right? That's it. I mean, if you look at it now, they would be like, yeah, it's photoshopped. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Photoshop BS. But no, apparently it's legit.
I think they stilled it up, like they enhanced it, because the original one is, you know, it's at night, so they had to make it brighter. This is interesting. You know, Space Force has a couple different logos. One of them is the Sphinx looking up at a star, probably.
Ooh.
Remember we talked about Regulus and the lady, Chris Bledsoe. There's right below it is the Chris Bledsoe, and he talks about Regulus and the Sphinx.
Let's read this here. One of the Space Force logo tells a real-time story. The anticipated date for the star Regulus to rise in the gaze of the Sphinx is October 7th of this year, approximately 5:30 a.m. Egyptian Standard Time. Quote, a new knowledge will come to humanity. According to Chris Bledsoe, the entity he calls the Lady, whom he identifies as the ancient Egyptian goddess Hathor, or a divine feminine presence, told him the following about the alignment. The specific sign, she instructed him that, quote, when the star of Regulus, which she specifically called the Red Star, despite it appearing blue-white to astronomers, quote, is on the horizon in front of the gaze of the Sphinx before daylight. The consequence, she stated that at that exact moment, a new knowledge will come to humanity. Bledsoe emphasizes this is not a prediction of destruction or an apocalypse, but rather a spiritual awakening, a scientific breakthrough, or the unveiling of ancient secrets such as the fabled Hall of Records. Akashic Records, maybe? The context, in various accounts, she also warned of a grand deception or evil alien threat and urged Bledsoe to share his story to prevent bloodshed, linking the celestial event to a potential intervention during a time of global conflict, specifically mentioning a war between Israel and Iran. Holy crap. While Bledsoe initially circulated Easter of 26, April 5th, as the date based on the constellations with astronomers and government contacts, he has since acknowledged that the astronomical alignment is more accurately calculated for October 7th, 2026, when Regulus will rise in the east before dawn in the Sphinx line of sight. That's crazy. Or, did he say this, though, before April or before April 5th? Oh, that's cool. That's even cooler.
Yeah. He's been saying it for some time. NASA's hired him. The CIA's hired him. He has a special pin or patch because they took him, I guess, to outer space. And these recovered artifacts are engaging with people's consciousness when you hold them. And originally, this is the NASA guy who's very famous went to him because he didn't really believe the story, and he handed him the object, and it had a profound impact on him that it doesn't really have to others. And then after a lot of time observing him, his question to Chris is, why you?
Right.
So ever since then, they've been documenting him. He's got videos of the orb that comes to him. It visits the sun. It's a really interesting story, but this this prediction, prophecy, whatever that the ladies told him, is this year. So I'm looking forward to paying attention to this new knowledge we may come across. And he reposted a clip of this, and at the end it was two guys in an interview, and they said maybe we'll find out about a elite society of pedophiles that's been running our planet. So and he reposted. Yeah, so I don't know, we'll say.
Dude, this is wild. I don't know if this is apparently.
Let me see if I can find it though.
I got something for you. Apparently, this is from Chris Bledsoe. What I'm about to show you, somebody named the Astral uploaded. It says Chris Bledsoe just posted a close-up HD video of an orb he recently recorded at his home in North Carolina. And then there's another video of like a huge orb like over. So again, I don't know, what this is, if it's real, fake, what it is, See if I can get any sound, if there's anything on it. It's not muted, and it has sound. So again, I don't know, what he's showing, but apparently he lives in North Carolina, and apparently this next orb I'm about to show you is also from him. And as you see down here, this one was from him. Or tagged anyway, so see if he commented back. Saw the lady on Easter.
Yeah, the lady came to him on Easter. Everything said that it said what he said. So now we're just waiting on this particular moment.
Credit Chris Bledsoe.
There's a link to a post he made at the bottom of the chat. I think we've played it once on the show before, but it's worth revisiting.
Certainly. Let's take a peek. See. Ding. Ooh.
That one's interesting, but the one at the bottom there. This one he posted himself, and it's to an Instagram video, and at the end is where they say it. So let's watch this and have a look-see. You'll have to unmute it. I think it's bottom right of the video.
Here we go.
Star Regulus. It was a prophecy given to him by this figure called the Lady. The actual prophecy is when the red star of Regulus rises in the gaze of the Sphinx, a new knowledge will come into the world. What he seems to be referring to is what's called the heliacal rising of Regulus. As far as I can tell, Regulus makes its heliacal rising in early September, not October. So that's when I would expect Regulus to first be visible. And it seems to me that Chris is referring to the heliacal rising of Regulus when it rises in the gaze of the Sphinx. So the first time that it's visible, I'm assuming that that's what the prophecy is talking about. So far this year, given that the prophecy is that a new knowledge will come into the world, like it's not doing too badly so far, I would say. You know, if we've got the Pentagon releasing these UFO videos, and I realize that this is a manipulation and probably somewhat in certain respects. However, I still find that significant. And then we also have, you know, everything that came out early in the year, all the Epstein stuff.
That counts.
I think that counts. I think that was pretty big.
New knowledge. Not for us, but for the general culture. They now know that satanic run everything.
Boom.
That's crazy that he posted that. Satanic pedophiles run everything.
I mean, dude's got a point. He kind of got a point, dude. Ugh, dude, I love this stuff. Yeah, we should definitely, you know, plan on one show that we can do a majority or of totally just, you know, just UFOs. That'd be fun for sure. I definitely like that stuff.
And there's one other clip right there that was above there that is interesting to play about the moon.
Did you happen to see, did I drop it into the chat earlier about the autopsy on one of the women that was found? Or the autopsy on one of the scientists that was found? They essentially said it was murder.
No,
I'll see if I think I have it in the show links.
Is it the lady that was recording herself?
I think it was a lady.
I watched some of that. She looks like she's either like, I don't know if she's on drugs or wasted. Like it's just really strange the way she was acting. I took note of that. I mean, obviously fear can do some things, but she seemed off. But okay, let's see what he has to say. I think Hal's the guy that came to visit him, maybe, and that ended up becoming really close. This is Puvenmir. We'll find out. Let's just see what he says.
Okay.
Hal mapped the moon. He mapped the landing spot for the Apollo mission. He's the expert on the moon. I said, "Is there really something on the backside of the moon?" He looked at me and he said, "There are buildings up there, big ones, and we didn't build them. And they're ancient.
Didn't he say the buildings look like mushrooms?
Some of them." He said, "Do you think that it landed by chance in the perfect spot where it eclipses the sun and it doesn't ever change its face to the earth? It stays locked in a position." He said, "None of that was by accident."
Very interesting.
Isn't that a lot more interesting than the Earth's flat?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Glad you asked, because unfortunately we're coming to that time of the show where we're going to have to wrap things up. It's almost 10 o'clock already. Dude, this 3 hours went by too quick. But
should I mention a couple things we didn't get to real quick? Or
sure. I just want to show you something really quick here.
Yeah, go for it.
See that? Apparently the Red Bull
you can get out. The way you talk about the wall, that's just the ice sitting on top of the wall.
Let me turn the sound off. Yeah, it's basically like, because people have said, you know, some folks out there are like, well, let me see the walls. Where's the ice walls?
Yeah, I mean, it's above the ground or above the water. It's crazy in certain spots. Other spots there's access, but yeah, they had to, I think, park maybe back when they took like Operation High Jump, they would have to like park the ships there and scale up, or maybe they. I would think that was the way they got up, is scale from the ship.
Dude, yeah, they put what they did was they parked the ship right up to it, and then they put this huge ass ladder right up to it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like right here. Yeah, right here. See, I mean, dude, as they were, quite a distance away, like a huge chunk fell off. They were probably, I don't know, 500 feet at least away from it, and you just seen whatever it was, and things look smaller than they are from far away. Dude, it put a huge ass wave started coming at them. They're like, oh God, imagine us being underneath this while, something falls. So this is basically what they did to get up it. And I don't know, they never really reported on. But dude, what I want to know, honestly, and I don't, again, I've never sat here and said like, yeah, I am a flat earther. I believe the earth is flat, or I believe the earth is round. I've never seen it. I don't have evidence for either side, but I do have lots of questions. And when I went to prove the whole flat earth thing wrong by looking at a bunch of the videos to poke holes in them, I came back with more questions than answers. But what I want to see, honestly, is I want to see somebody get up on here and just go that direction and just keep going in that direction. And what happens? Like, where do you go? You know what I mean? Just follow them out.
I think we're going to find out Antarctica's part of this story. So,
dude,
I don't know.
I think, something, right?
Like
something big's down there.
Breakaway civilization, possibly. Ancient, possibly. He said that like there's ancient buildings on the backside of the moon. That means we've had the technology to get there. Someone has. Was it from Earth? I mean, it's the closest thing to the moon. So I would assume that we started Earth and then Moon, or Moon then Earth. So,
strange pulses beneath
Antarctica. I mean, everyone signed the treaty really not to have any military on there. So that would be like there must be a threat there that we can't defeat. So therefore, we come in peace at all times, no matter what. If we encounter anything, could be read as that.
I often wonder about parts of Admiral Byrd's diary, because some people say, well, it's fake, and some people say it's not. But
there's always this truth in these things, though, that as soon as they dismiss it, that's when they win. Now, one of the examples that I have is that, Ben Carson went on with this guy named like Wes somebody, who's like a Christian historian. I might be getting that wrong a little bit. Well, it didn't go well for Ben Carson's. And one of the things that this guy West brings up is the Emerald Tablets. Well, recently there's this guy that's been touring on these interviews who apparently is like a 33-degree Mason, all that stuff, older gentleman, and he says that the Emerald Tablets are real, and there's proof of it. So you got to take everything with a little grain of salt, and then go read something else or listen to something else and see if it gets verified a couple different times, and then that you have something of substance, and you can start exploring that, knowing that part of it is a lie. And that's how you get to like the bottom of some of this stuff. Now, if you take the wrong path, you can kind of get steered in the wrong direction very easily, or distracted. So just keep that in mind.
Definitely is truth in a lot of this stuff. I think this is a funny comment. Dirty Carpenter, he says the moon is the router for Saturn. It's the router. Yeah, something's weird about it. And it's interesting. They always do stuff, on the dark side. And apparently, from what I understand, it's the only object in our solar system that does that. Is like tidal locked or whatever to its thing. So,
well, if it's on the outside and it's pointing outward, that would mean that it's probably communicating outwardly to somewhere, right?
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Which brings a whole nother aspect to the conversation. Pretty wild, right? And I think they've known about this ancient structure on the backside of the moon for some time. I forget the date. I came across it not too long ago, and it's a wild story. It was there. It wasn't like functioning, but it was there, and it was technologically advanced.
Oh,
they thought it might have been the Soviets, but I don't know.
Dude, you're gonna love this comment. Let's see here. Let me thank a couple folks, and I'll leave this comment for last because this is kind of maybe what we saw in China, if I'm reading this right. Mr. G Fonts dropped $2 hollers, and he was talking about the representative there. Said she did leave and has been living in Florida for more than 25 years. I would have thought Boston College and the University of Chicago to be excellent institutions of higher education. Yeah, that's until they started, pulling their communism and stuff left and right. And we know that they are essentially internment camps for our children to turn them against us or turn them against America. The other one, he says, the quote lady is a name for the quote current North Star or the prior North Star that went dark, nebulas, and is supposed to be replaced by another in something like 1,200 years. Could look it up. That is interesting, and we've seen that other premonition when the moon is at her feet and the woman is bathed by the sun. I forgot, that one went out for a few years ago. Whip and Spur had gifted out 5 subscriptions to the Rumble channel there. Thank you very much, Whip and Spur 123. Appreciate you. And then this comment here, Mac. Randall S. Crow, our resident author and content creator. So check him out on YouTube. Randall S. Crow dropped a $5 super chat. He says, we have helicopter footage. And I have never heard this term, so I don't know. And I would love to see it. He says, we have helicopter footage of the plasma rain bomb directly hitting the Guadalupe on 4th of July, 2025, or 7/4/25. Plasma rain bomb hitting Guadalupe? I'd have to look that one up. Plasma rain bomb. If anything happens to come up, and I know guy builds a plasma cannon out of 2 water jugs. I don't think that's it exactly. But definitely, if you have that uploaded there, Randall, on your channel, definitely send me a link, and I will definitely get that on the next show and bring that up there. But thank you for that. Anything you ever heard about that, Mac? The plasma rain bomb hitting the Guadalupe?
I'm looking at it up right now on X, and maybe it's the lightning from. There's 2 clips that's coming up. One is this. It's in a different language, I believe, but that's what it.
Let's take a picture. Let's see. Is this and just leave a regular comment, Randall? I'll be looking. Is this what you were talking about? It says, "Oh wow," and it mentions the Perseid meteor shower, and Randall and I know that means something to him as well. The sky over Guatemala lit up with strange flashes on the night of August 12th. Several lights streaked across the sky and surprised those who managed to catch sight of them. As the images began circulating rapidly, hours later, the explanation emerged that night marked the peak of the Perseid meteor shower caused by particles left behind the comet Swift-Tuttle, which upon entering the atmosphere created the well-known flashes of shooting stars. It's crazy. Maybe it's something like that, but I'm gonna drop a link in the chat for you guys in a little bit. That's for Randall's video that he made in honor of his brother. And I'm pretty sure I understood the video correctly, that his brother had passed away the night after they had his brother had passed away, I think, during a trip that he was having while they were witnessing the beautiful meteor shower. And so that was kind of like maybe I'm reading that as kind of a farewell message from your brother. So I thought that was a beautiful little story. It's like a little short 5-minute deal, but very cool there. And thank you for sharing that out with the world, because it is on his YouTube channel. Very interesting stuff. But let me go over to Pilled and then say some thanks, and then I gotta go see what my boy's bugging me about over here. I got him chopping me up some shorts too, Mac. I'm putting him to work with some shorts, getting him active out there. But Miss Lizzie B dropped a cookie, no message on there, but thank you. Flash Mach 5 with a cookie, no message on there, but thank you there. Kane Chris always has the THC cookies for the working bones, which I do appreciate. Thank you for the cookie there, brother. Sean Joe, Space Squad founding member there, comes in with one can, and then a cookie, and then Sean Joe came in with another cookie. So 3 of those in a row. Thank you, brother. And then Cap1Q came in with a cookie. No message on there, but thank you. And the last two, but certainly never least, Mr. Sean Joe came in with 2 cookies at the very end there. So thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am releasing the scratch-offs or scratch-ins, and they have been released. Mr. MaQaveli, sir, any parting words for the crew? I don't know if we got rated again, but we got like 1,600 folks here watching, so that's trending in the right direction. And dude,
I'm telling you, the alien UFO stuff, great. A lot of stuff, it's so hard to find, and you got to sift through the legit ones and the fake ones and the good ones and the bad ones. So, and there's a history to it that we're obviously learning about. So, pretty interesting.
True.
But great. Go ahead.
Dude, I got a question for you really quick. Have you been hearing all about some folks out there complaining? They're like, oh, I heard Rumble's like really doing crappy lately. Like, oh, Rumble's really hurting lately.
That's news to me.
It's so freaking funny. Well, with that in mind, let's see. Look at this. They're doing horrible, bro. They're like, I don't know, man. Rumble needs to get their stuff together. Oh wait, Rumble reports record second quarter 2026 results. Oh, okay, that's great. So yeah, dude, they're doing very well. But sorry, go ahead. Your final thoughts for the crew.
Well, one thing I just wanted to point out, when we played that video, the Game of Thrones themed White House video last week, part of the text was the Capitol restored. Well, you look at restoration, government and legal context, restoration generally refers to the process of returning property assets, ecosystems, or political systems to their original unimpaired or pre-damaged condition. Constitutional and political law. In constitutional terms, restoration can refer to the reinstatement of a former system of government or law. This includes the restoration of Republican government after authoritarian rule, or the restoration of the monarchy, historically referring to the 1660 reestablishment of the English monarchy, historically referring to the 1660 reestablishment of... I read that twice. Why is that there twice? Sorry. It also encompasses the return of rights, powers, or diplomatic relations to their former status. So we're in that process right now, constitutionally, of returning it back to the constitutional republic or the English monarchy.
I would go with the constitutional republic.
Yeah. Well, now doesn't that kind of explain the whole Iran thing?
Oh yeah.
So we're in this process of restoration. I've got to look at it a little deeper to understand what process in the law that this is required, but I thought that was very interesting how it correlated to London as well.
Sure does. It certainly does.
Great show. Looking forward again to next week. Lots of things to pay attention to. Just keep your eyes peeled. I think we're getting some exposure of the foreign agents that are being paid to in the social media atmosphere, possibly, and on the news. So that'll be interesting. Because we've had a lot of that influence been going on. But till next week, thanks again for everybody tuning in. Thanks to the mods, and thanks again, Space Shot.
Yes, sir. Thank you too as well, brother. And I think next time I'll pull these things on the chat. At the end of the show, I'll pull the comments onto the chat and I'll read them off of there because I have the ability to do that. But yeah, great show, brother. That 3 hour, that's how I gauge how good the show went. Is like if it feels like it went by fast, then it's usually a good show. So this one felt like it went by in a snap of a finger. And I do greatly appreciate all of you wonderful mods out there who do help myself and many others out there. China. Very selfless help. So I do appreciate you guys and gals out there, which, it's been a week. So thank you very much to Cap78 Pack, Chris Schaus, Diane DeVoe Williams, Debbie Roush, GGB Working It, James Rohrback, Patriot Chick, P Dancer, Susie Q, Tasmaniac, Tanette Booth, and of course, Miss Wheezy Girl. We do appreciate your help greatly. And all of you guys and girls, we do, of course, appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in. And until that next video, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Let me find my video, and peace.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion.
You have all the money in the world, you have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? Like I said, the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
Party in the garden, the tower's falling, love in the summertime. Ooh, yeah, yeah. And I'm unified, feeling oh so unified. In the light now, in the light now. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. Every day, it's a gift. That's why we call it the best. We were born on the garden of Earth, but the flowers grow away, little birds chirp. I was in the garden just having a laugh, till I met a monster cross my path. Hey, Gather, do you want some more trilla? I could get you lit up one or two ways. What's it gonna be, man? What's it gonna be, man? Say it, I feel like the whole world was begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me. Say it, I forgot the whole world begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me every day. It's a gift, that's why we call it the best. Every day, it's a gift, that's why we call it the best. Drink these tears, can we be saved?
Is a gift. For we are opposed around the world